To the cheerleaders, huh? We'll have some words after the game, that's for certain. Well, this is my 5th World Bowl. Brian, I know this is your 2nd, but for atmosphere, I've not seen anything quite like this. This is unbelievable.
I've been around a lot of football games my entire life, and I truly can say that this is as passionate as it gets. And I was outside at the power party beforehand, Nick. We've been here for almost 4.5 hours with most of these fans. And the people that are playing this game and coaching can't ask for anything more.
And just listen to this noise. It's absolutely deafening down there.
And you know what it does to a player? It just elevates your blood flow, your adrenaline so much earlier for a game. You just know it's going to be a big, big game.
Well, it's definitely a hometown crowd, but it's the Rhein Fire players that are being introduced. And first of all, their nationals, Babak Movasagi, 3 catches this year.
German national player. I mean, this is a great thrill. Got a lot of family out there, and as well as this guy right here, Manfred Bergsmuller.
48 years old, even older than Mike Carlson. Kicks better, though.
Nick, that's 48 years young to Manfred, okay? He doesn't think of himself as old.
Number 21, Tamon Nakamura.
And a great attitude from this guy.
Well, you know, he is going to play an American Bowl game in Tokyo, either for the Packers or the Chiefs, come this summer.
Anthony Dogme.
Another national player here, Anthony Dogme. He's been a great, great asset to the defense of the Fire this year.
Number 82, Martin Driva.
Playing in his 4th straight World Bowl. Whatever team this guy is on goes to the championship game.
Maybe there's something to that. Alemán has had a great year. He got a sack this year, his first sack, and Pete Kaharczyk, the defensive coordinator, said, I can line this guy up anywhere on the defensive line, he's effective.
Rhein Fire. On wide receiver number 88, Marcus Robinson.
A big play receiver.
But he's the offensive MVP of this league, and he has to deliver today.
Once of the Scottish Claymores.
Well, he started at left tackle this year, wanted to increase his versatility for the NFL.
Allocated here from the Miami Dolphins. He was on their practice squad last year.
Jimmy Johnson said he's a prospect.
Garen Patrick.
Garen Patrick missed last week's game, and they said there's no way he's going to miss this game in this atmosphere.
Number 55, Bob Cronenberg.
Bit special, a 4-year veteran, never played in a championship game. This his last ever game.
I think that was a full sprint out on the field. And this guy right here, an all NFL Europe tackle, 6'9", 320 pounds, trying to get healthy to go back to the Colts.
I like this guy, Brian.
Yeah, he could be a big factor today. A talented receiver, a guy that can get down the field.
Kevin Lee playing despite a hip problem. The Rhein Fire offensively really banged up. He's one of their walking wounded.
And the reason why one of the biggest bang up is that quarterback, and Jim Arellanes makes his first start since his senior year at Fresno State.
A game winner on his own, but he's hurt.
Yeah, he's hurt, but he is the Rhein Fire offense. When they run the ball, they're effective. Diallo Burke starts today because of the injury to Larry Ryans, a very effective receiver for him this year.
And in his 3rd World Bowl, Galen Hall, a loser with Orlando in '92 and last year with the Fire. Is it going to be 3rd time lucky?
He said that, you know, it's been a long week, and he couldn't wait for this game to come. And when you lose a game like they did to Frankfurt last week, you can't wait to go out and make them up again.
And now listen to the noise level. I'll tell you something, Brian, we're supposed to be in a soundproof booth here. This is incredible.
It's hard talking over it. It really is.
For the second contestant.
You gotta love it, though.
For the World Bowl.
You wish you were down there, don't you? You wish you were in that.
I wish
right
I
now.
had a microphone on, did my commentary while I was making hits.
Here they come.
Kenny McIntyre leading the charge. He led the charge last week with some great special teams play. And this is not a one-time thing for these fans, Nick. The first time anybody tuning in to American football in Germany, they do this every week here.
Well, we'll meet the Nationals first. The hero last week with that overtime kick. He said he was terrified, didn't he?
He's coming out very calm today. That was the most excited person in Waldstadion a week ago.
Just one catch on the year, but also picked up a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, against Scotland this year, his first points ever in NFL Europe.
Number 24, Ingo Saiba.
One of my all-time favorites.
7 career touchdowns in this league. Got a chance to carry the ball with the injury to Reynard Rutherford a week ago.
67, Stefan Gamlin.
Been restricted to special teams play, been hurt a lot as well.
The national players are getting better in this league. This is an example. Marcus Reister, a big guy, 6'7", 310 pounds. You can put him out there in the field. He's been dominating some offensive linemen this year.
Talking about dominating. He blocked you out of the game.
He's special. He really is, Nick. He's a special player with a special attitude. The mayor of Cologne, been the ambassador for this game all across the nation.
Rafael Gratz, another one of those special teams performers. They've all contributed to the Galaxy this season. Now, the starting defensive lineup.
I was with Mel Agee when he was drafted by the Colts in '91. Still a very effective defensive lineman. They got better when he began to start. Bruce Walker, a one-time second-round draft pick of the Philadelphia Eagles, not very far removed from the NFL days. And the other end there on this 3-man front, the only 3-man front is Jerome Davis. Very big and physical group.
And this guy's made a bunch of plays for the Galaxy from the outside linebacker position.
As do all of their linebackers.
From the Denver Broncos, picked up a Super Bowl ring in January, wants a World Bowl ring in June.
That's not too special. You know, Super Bowl ring in January, World Bowl ring in June, and then Sean Banks, a second-year performer here, also teamed with Hillary Banks, an inside linebacker a year ago.
Monarchs fans will remember him blocking a punt for a touchdown at Crystal Palace.
A lot of speed out of KD Williams. This man's going to be busy, Anthony Cobb, today because he's got the responsibility of shadowing Marcus Robinson around the field.
Number 23, Michael Reed.
Michael Reed getting the start at the other corner position.
Alonzo Hampton, who has been starting there, is real banged up, so Michael Reed gets the start.
A 4-year veteran, listen to that.
They know the locals here.
Number 25, Greg Evans.
Another veteran as well, another big play guy.
Yeah, and not just a defensive back, can also play quarterback, as we saw last week.
Now, Dick Curl has not made himself popular here in Frankfurt, but the bottom line is he's got this team to the championship game, and you can't ask for any more than that.
No, and you know, he's got a smile on his face, and he should. Last year, the offensive coordinator for the Barcelona Dragons, when they won the World Bowl championship down in Barcelona, and as the players rally around him, that's what they've done all year. Right now, Nick, on a 4-game winning streak, and any coach that can get their team playing their best football at the end of the season is doing a great job.
Well, if you look purely at momentum, Brian, you've got to say, as you say, the Galaxy, 4 straight wins. The Fire, they've lost 3 of their last 4. But I remember last year, the Barcelona Dragons, they went in right into the tank after they qualified, but they came out hot for the World Bowl.
Yeah, and they did. And the tune-up game, though, was week 10 when John Kitna really got back on track. And you never know what's going through the heads of players when it's for all the marbles and there's no tomorrow. And right now, I think that the players in Rhein have spent the week focusing on this game and knowing that this is for it all. And there is nothing else to play for.
There's Jack Elway, the original head coach of the Frankfurt Galaxy. He's come along to make the trip. Of course, Jack Elway, father of John Elway. John Elway, 15-year veteran, winning his first Super Bowl in January. We were there, Brian, and nobody deserved it more than him.
No, that was a great atmosphere, and a guy truly deserving.
And his father's now with the Denver Broncos, but he started out here with the Galaxy back in 1991. There he is with Larry Kennan, the original Monarchs head coach. And good to see Jack back here at the Waldstadion.
Now, one thing you know about the Elway family, Nick, is it's football. It's all football, whether it's John or Jack, and who's coaching or who's playing. It's all about football. And the fans remember Jack Elway quite well here in Waldstadion.
Tony Corrente is our referee today. And Jack Elway will do the coin toss. Such a big game atmosphere here, isn't it, Brian? I mean, it's not a national championship, it's not a Super Bowl, but I tell you, the atmosphere is every bit as special.
You know, for a lot of these players, Nick, a lot of these guys have never played a championship game. And a lot of guys will never play in front of a crowd this passionate and this excited in their entire life. And you have to take hold of that, and you want to soak it all in, and you never want to forget it. And when you step on that field tonight, that's a memory that you will cherish forever. And when you're raising your kids one day and, you're talking to Stuart, you're talking to Jonathan, you tell them, as a commentator, you tell them about the game today and what it was like. And, you were there, you do it as a player, as a coach, as a commentator, as a fan. It's just memorable.
Well, two guys that aren't here, well, one that is here but can't play, is Mike Quinn of the Rhein Fire, and not here is Damon Heward, the quarterback of the Frankfurt Galaxy. He's gone back to Miami. Such a tough break for both those two young quarterbacks, the two guys that got these teams here. They're not going to go today. Jim Arellanes gets the start for the Rhein Fire. He looked pretty calm and composed when we talked to him down on the field, but Galen Hall was saying he just doesn't know what the guy's going to do.
Nobody really does. He's thrown one pass so far this year, and you can't judge a player by how they practice. On the other side, Dick Curl, he's got Chris Ditto out there, and Chris Ditto got repetitions before last week in week 5 against the Rhein Fire, and he took his team down in what you call mop-up duty at the end of the game, and he threw a touchdown pass to Mario Bailey. And he got acclimated to the game and to the speed of the game. And I think right now, when you talk about these substitute quarterbacks, Ditto has the advantage because he has played, and he's played important games.
But I tell you what, the Rhein Fire have never lost in this stadium. They're 4-0. But of course, all the initiative and really all the momentum with Frankfurt after that emotional come-from-behind overtime win last week. That got the Galaxy here.
I talked to Galen Hall about the fact that they have never lost here. He said they feed off the energy of this crowd, and they turn it into a positive. The downside of that, Nick, is crowd noise will be a factor for the Rhein Fire running their offense tonight.
And Ralph Twyman gets World Bowl 98 underway. John Vaughan and Kerry Joseph are back deep. Joseph fields at his 8-yard line. And Joseph looks for work room on the outside. A flag comes in. Joseph is down at the 32-yard line, but a flag on the first play. And Jim Arellanes will come out and take his first snap. And a man who's used to throwing the ball at Fresno State. He's got a lot of people to aim at. Clark Robinson, Lee Burks, and Bishop, the wide receivers and running backs. And the offensive line, it's a big one, and that group's been together all year.
Yeah, and Arellanes does not have to win this game by himself. When this Rhein Fire team is running the football, the quarterback just has to play within what they want him to do. He doesn't have to be the star of the game.
There is no flag on the play. Derek Clark is in the backfield, the pitch back.
Wow, he's got him.
Arellanes is going for Marcus Robinson, and he's got him inside the 30-yard line, and Robinson comes up with a huge play, and that's going to settle the nerves for Arellanes.
Oh, yes. Kenny Karcher, offensive coordinator, dialed into the bag of tricks to start the game, the old toss back to the quarterback. Derek Clark takes this ball into the line of scrimmage. You're going to see a great job of the offensive line to sell and run, and everybody bites on Derek Clark. Stop Clark, that's their #1 priority, and Marcus Robinson from the slot gets behind the whole secondary.
So it's first down, Rhein Fire at the 27 of the Galaxy. Arellanes will drop to throw again. He's looking to the right side, and he can't quite find his man. It's incomplete. Again, looking for the size of Robinson. And the defense immediately on the back foot. Davis and Agee outside. Bruce Walker in the middle. That's a good front three. But it's the linebacking crew that's a bit special for the Galaxy. They've all made plays this season. Williams and Allman, the outside guys. Banks and Butler inside. And the secondary's going to be busy. Reed and Cobbs on the corners, and the veterans, Evans and Hall at safety.
Well, Anthony Cobbs has got the responsibility of Marcus Robinson today. And he's going to be busy. They went after him last week. They didn't connect very often.
2nd and 10. Clark in the backfield. Clark carries the ball for the first time. Works his blockers and is down inside the 25. Gets up again. The initial hit was from Hillary Butler, but Butler is judged not to have stopped him, and Clark picks up another 3 yards. 7 on the carry. That'll bring up 2nd and 3. Well, 3rd and 3.
Now, what you're seeing, Nick, right away is a new play for the Rhein Fire. What they did was they tossed the ball to Clark that time to get him on the outside quicker. He doesn't have enough speed to take it from the handoff and get to the outside. So if they toss it to him and they pull the big lineman, Leslie Ratliff and Randy Wheeler, get some blockers out in front, you pick up 8 yards on the play.
Robinson and Movasagi, the wideouts. Robinson is the slot receiver. Clark in the backfield, 3rd down and 3. Harold Bishop, the tight end, is the motion man. Clark goes inside, is stopped, but there's a flag. From where the knee went down, that's going to be short, but there is a flag on the near sideline. That's a fan, by the way. That is not Brian Balling the morning after. Well, the penalty goes against the Frankfurt Galaxy.
Yeah, they're going to get offsides.
And I tell you, KD Williams doesn't like that.
No.
Side on the defense, number 56, 5-yard penalty. First down.
They got him in the neutral zone, trying to get up there to stop Derek Clark, and what it does is it gives the Rhein Fire a free first down and allows them to hold on to the football. A costly mistake early in the game for Frankfurt. Something that's been hurting the Rhein Fire these last 4 weeks when they've gone into a bit of a tailspin.
John Bourne checking into the game in the backfield for the Fire. Mobasagi, wide right. Bourne gets the carry, and Bourne looks to work his blockers and is down at the 10-yard line. Chris Hall coming up for safety from the safety position and making the stop. A pickup of 4 for the man who played his college ball at the University of Michigan and has bounced around the league a few years.
John Vaughn rotates with Derek Clark now in the backfield. Clark gets about 2/3 of the carry, Vaughn gets the other third, and they rotate in tandem. They've got a freedom to rotate. They have his hand signal, literally. When Derek Clark gets hurt or tired, John Vaughn comes in. Remember, Derek Clark comes in today with bruised ribs.
Mobasagi, wide right. Robinson in the slot. Vaughan again in the backfield. Not much doing for Vaughan this time. He ran into a whole bunch of trouble in the shape of number 92, Mel Agee, the NFL veteran.
Well, Mel Agee and Bruce Walker and Jerome Davis has their hands full today, because that's exactly where they want to run, between the tackles. And Mel Agee gets inside Derek West on this play, and he gets his hands on John Vaughn. What the Rhein Fire love to do is take the ball front sight and cut it back. And Mel Agee right there played that cutback perfectly, beat West to the inside for the tackle.
And on 3rd and 7, Tamo Nakamura, the Japanese running back, comes into the lineup. And a loose ball. Arellanes can't get hold of it. It looks like the Galaxy may have recovered it. Although Nakamura seems to have come up. Oh, he moved fast there, the Japanese running back.
I tell you what, that was a great play by Tamo Nakamura. What we saw right there was an exchange problem between center Darren Patrick and Jim Arellanes. And that's what a coach, Kenny Karcher and Galen Hall, were worried about most. On a wet surface tonight, and it was raining most of the afternoon. New quarterback and exchange problem right there.
Manfred Bergsmuller to attempt a 29-yard field goal. And Bergsmuller slides it in, and the visiting Rhein Fire take the opening possession and drive it for a field goal. It's the Rhein Fire leading the Frankfurt Galaxy 3-0. Where we're getting ready for the Rhein Fire to kick it away to the Frankfurt Galaxy. I'm sure the nerves have settled a bit in the Rhein Fire camp, and that particularly for young Jim Arellanes, who probably hasn't taken a snap in anger really since his college days.
He's only thrown one pass all year, Nick, and that was in overtime last week. And when you can come up with a trick play like that, and you have a receiver so wide open, and he underthrew him. If he hit Marcus Robinson in stride, it would have been 7 points. Nobody's going to catch Marcus from behind. But the fact that you have, the confidence to call that play, that's confidence in the offensive line, that they can hold out, allow Derek Clark to pitch that ball back. A lot of things have to take place for that play to work, but that will get you pumped up and settle you down.
Here's Danny Kite from the Washington Redskins kicking it off. Mitchell Galloway, one of 3 deep men back for the Frankfurt Galaxy. Galloway will field at his own 13. Short kick. Galloway runs into a wall that will get to about the 28-yard line before he's tackled. Haywood Clay in on the stop, so that's where Chris Ditto will take over from, just like Arellanes making his first start of the NFL season, and it's in the championship game. What a moment for him. He looked nervous in pre-game. Jermaine Chaney in the backfield. Bailey, Branch, Galloway, the wideouts. Vince Marrow, the tight end. That's a good group. And this offensive line has stayed together all year, but they've given up 30 sacks, these guys.
Yeah, and Chris Ditto is not a mobile guy, and it's a big difference between starting and coming out of the bullpen to finish a game.
Jermaine Chaney in the backfield. And Ditto, the pocket passer, gives to Chaney on first down, and Chaney skips his way for about 5 good yards before he's eventually stopped. Kevin Jefferson, the middle linebacker, on the stop. Mike Kroll, the blitzer from the outside. Shatoni Sargent on the other end. Dwayne Ashman and Ed Fillion are a good, solid pair of tackles inside. Bradford and Rouse on the outside at linebacker. Kevin Jefferson, who just made that stop, mans the inside linebacker position. And Jones and Denton on the corners, with Kerry Joseph and big-hitting Chris Schelling at safety.
Set, blue 28.
Officially a gain of 4 for Cheney, and on second down, they'll throw it again. And Cheney will be close to first down yardage. Stopped after a gain of 3. Mike Kroll was wrapped up around his ankles, and I'm sure that Chris Ditto is just thinking, let's get a few plays under our belts and just settle down and calm our nerves. Meanwhile, we have a flag.
Everybody comes out of these championship games way too high, way too fired up, and you're not relaxed. And when you're not relaxed, you don't play good, sound football. Chris Ditto, if he can run 3 plays in a row and get a first down, get players comfortable, get them into the flow of the game, that's what he'd like to do.
Again, no flag. I tell you, there's fans throwing stuff around all over the place here. Third and short. Again, they go on the ground, and Cheney is stopped well short. Gang tackled Kevin Jefferson, the first man there. And the Galaxy wanted to get it all done on the ground, but it's 3 and out. And the rain, well, it's been very showery here in Frankfurt all day, but it's starting to look like it's set for the night, Brian.
Well, we already saw the fumble exchange between Jim Arellanes and Garen Patrick. Look for more turnovers tonight in a slick field in this type of weather.
Bill Kushner will kick it away to Kerry Joseph, once of the Monarchs. And Joseph takes it at the 20. And will pick up 12 yards on the return before he stops. Werner Hippler in on the tackle. So the Fire defensively hold firm, and the Rhein Fire will take over in pretty decent field position as the rain falls here at the Waldstadion. Well, what we see is the rain absolutely teeming down, and I tell you, we were talking to John Vaughan before the game started. He said, I hate the rain, I don't like playing in it. Arellanes rolls to his left and fires and hits Kevin Lee, who pays the price. Chris Hall just lowered the boom, but Lee hung on. Lee playing with a bruised hip. He was doubtful for this game. But Arellanes so far, Bryant, has looked pretty calm and composed.
Well, that was very, very an experienced play. Being able to get out of the way of the defense lineman, roll, and then be able to find Kevin Lee in his range. I mean, that was an impressive start.
A pickup of 7 yards. That's going to bring up second down and short. Vaughan, the man who hates the rain, in the backfield. Lee is the wideout again. They have trouble with the exchange, but they get it to Vaughan, and Vaughan will pick up first down yardage with Chris Hall again coming up from safety. But what was almost a disastrous play again for the Fire turns into a 10-yard pickup, and they'll move the chains.
Jim really has to concentrate, taking the ball away from Garen Patrick right here. And this is just slippery hands. Patrick gets the ball to him, and it hits him right in the hands, and it slips out. Now what happens is it throws off the timing of the defensive lineman when the quarterback picks it up. Patrick, who is right-handed, has to snap the ball left-handed or right-handed. A left-handed guy has to snap right-handed so the quarterback gets it. But look at how wet it is. It makes it slippery for everybody inside.
Well, I'll tell you what, Brian, they got away with 2 botched exchanges. They've got to calm it down. Back on the ground they go. John Vaughan spinning his way straight into Chris Hall once again. 3 tackles in a row for the veteran safety, and a pickup of 3 at best for John Vaughan. And as if things weren't bad enough for 2 young quarterbacks who barely played this season, this rain is just going to make life impossible in terms of passing.
It's a factor. It is definitely going to be a factor today for everybody. Guys trying to make tackles are going to slip. Running backs who are normally used to cutting the way Jermaine Cheney is can't cut just the same on a wet surface. This really favors backs like Derek Clark, who just like to roll the ball into the middle of the line and is a power back. Well, Clark's back in the game.
Clark checking in, as you say. Kevin Lee in the slot. Marcus Robinson split wide to the right. Arellanes is looking in that direction. He's looking for Lee again, and it's broken up. A high-risk ball. Greg Evans was there. So, too, was Anthony Cobbs. And the only thing that could have happened to that ball was an interception.
Yeah, he really floated that ball out there. He tried to aim the ball instead of just throw it, and it's difficult. And good coverage on the play by Greg Evans. Getting over the top, providing the double coverage on Kevin Lee. So what you saw on that play, though, Nick, was excellent pass protection. They kept Derek Clark in and Harold Bishop at tight end for max protection to protect Jim Arellanes.
Arellanes facing a real test here, 3rd and long. Clark in the backfield. And he just had to get rid of it, but he finds the big tight end. And the ball is loose, and the Fire look like they got it again. Bishop, I think it was, that covered it up. Haywood Clay was the man who coughed it up. But that's 3 times that ball has been on the ground, put there by the Rhein Fire, and they've got away with it every time.
Watch this play here. Haywood Clay is the second tight end. And he stays in, he fakes like he's gonna block on the outside against Cedric Clark, and then he releases a tight end screen. Excellent call because it's a safe pass by Jim Arellanes. But again, this is like one of those greased up watermelons that you play with on 4th of July.
Is it weather or is it nerves?
It's a combination.
Hey, Hayward, you gotta go motion.
The Fire knocking on the door again. Harold Bishop, the tight end, is the motion man. Derek Clark runs into trouble, doesn't get much. Big Israel Stanley, number 90, all over him, and we've been impressed with him when we've watched the Galaxy on film, Brian.
Well, Israel Stanley was the #1 pick in the NFL Europe draft in 1997 by the Rhein Fire, was in the World Bowl with them last year. And I thought that his quickness really got the best of the matchup against Derek West just a year ago. And that's the rib protector that Derek Clark has on to protect the left side of his rib cage.
It's not the last place you want to be hurt if you're a running back, because you know you're going to take a pounding on your ribs.
And there's nothing you can do about that pain.
Second down and long. Clark is in the backfield. Arellanes will drop to pass. The pressure comes, but it's dumped off to Haywood Clay again. It's exactly the same play, and Clay is down at the 12-yard line. This is the blocking tight end, Brian, a guy that's only had 6 catches all year, but they're using him as the kind of escape valve, aren't they?
Well, he's a decoy, and what's happening is when he stays in at fullback, then they rush the outside linebacker. As soon as he rushes, then Jim Arellanes right now looks hot. I mean, he's looking for the safety valve. That's all Haywood Clay is on his play, a safety valve. And look at Hillary Butler having trouble to bring down a guy that resembles an offensive tackle with the football.
And Butler's a hitter as well.
Yeah, he's the leading tackler.
But Haywood Clay is a load.
I'm 1-on-1, ready?
And the rain is starting to just lighten up a little bit, but it's still coming down pretty heavy. But right now it's the Galaxy having trouble finding their feet. The ball on the ground again, and Arellanes paid the price that time. Sean Banks coming straight over the top. They're right in their luck, the Fire.
Well, this is Jim Arellanes' responsibility right now is to get the football. And it's Garen Patrick, the center's job, to make sure that he's snapping a drive football. And he can do that. He has to get together with the umpire. They're just changing the football right now. And it's his job to get a drive football and for Arellanes to get the ball, because 3 exchange problems right now, under any circumstances, whether you're in the monsoons of June here in Frankfurt, makes no difference. Got to get the ball in the hands.
Loss of 4 yards on the play. Derek Clark into the backfield. Clay has checked out of the lineup. 3 wide receivers in. Arellanes will look to pass. He's looking for Robinson, and it's overthrown. And that's going to bring up 3rd down and long for Jim Arellanes and the Fire.
What we've seen, Nick, is really a change-up in offense from a week ago. Ken Karcher and Galen Hall went to the drawing board. They put in some new plays. We've seen the tight end screen to Haywood Clay that we haven't seen all year. And then we've seen the toss sweep to both Vaughn and Clark. And they're trying to mix things up, and you have to do that when you play a team back-to-back weeks, because they're just too familiar with each other.
They've got to get inside the 2-yard line to get a 1st down. Clay is back in the lineup.
He's taking a lot of time. The clock is running down. It's inside 5 seconds here.
3rd and long. They get the play off. Arellanes looks, waits, has a man. Touchdown, Rhein Fire. Diallo Burks. But there's a flag down in the Fire backfield.
It's going to be a penalty against the Frankfurt Galaxy. Late hit on the quarterback. And this is going to be 6 points.
Well, Arellanes held his nerve, waited for Burks to get open. And Burks, with his 3rd touchdown of the year.
And getting a lot of playing time lately because of the injury to Larry Ryans. And out of the slot, he's filled in very nicely.
He's looked a pretty good player whenever we've seen him as well, Brian.
Well, I was around the kid a lot in Philadelphia 2 years ago when he was on the developmental squad in '96.
Bergsmuller with the extra point. That one just about makes it. And the Rhein Fire have a 10-point lead. 2:31 left in the 1st quarter.
All right, it is absolutely pouring down out here. I'm freezing, I'm cold, but as you can hear behind me, the atmosphere is absolutely amazing. And right over here, this is what it's all about. This right here is what they're playing for. I'm so cold!
Yeah, it's a good job we didn't ask Gia to lift that thing. That thing weighs 41 pounds, Brian. We need you down there to lift that thing.
That's the stat of the night so far, Nick. 41 pounds in the World Bowl trophy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Makes the Super Bowl look a little weedy, you know.
I like that trophy. I think something about the globe and the world and tying this whole thing together. Yeah, it's really a meeting of different languages and cultures here over in Europe, and we've traveled this league for quite a few years now, Nick. I know this is your 76th game. 75th game, and there'll be a 76th and a lot more. I know that, Nick.
Well,
I know you've seen this sport grow tremendously. Nothing bigger than in Germany here.
it's huge here. Danny Kite kicks it straight into the end zone. Mitchell Galloway will down it 4 yards deep. In case you're wondering where Danny Kite suddenly got that leg strength, by the way, there was a penalty assessed after the play, so the Fire kicked off from midfield, but the Fire have got the start they wanted.
Yeah, well, 10 plays and 67 yards, and give all the credit to Jim Arellanes, because he stayed in there, he got hit, he waited on Burks to be able to get open over the middle, and then he delivered a strike. And talking with Mike Jones, the wide receiver coach, before the game, he said that Arellanes actually throws the ball over the middle better than Mike Quinn, and we just saw an example of that.
Mike 57.
But it's getting brighter, but it's still raining.
Mike,
And Chris Ditto
Blue 28.
wasn't able to do much on the first possession. 3 running plays, and they failed to get a first down. Now Ditto, the pocket passer, will pass. Watch his feet slip in the mud there as he tried to plant. He was looking in the direction of Mitchell Galloway, and it was broken up. He couldn't plant his foot, Brian.
Well, you know, that's the big problem. When the field gets soft, quarterback's got to be able to plant that back foot, which is his right foot.
Fever right, 7 power.
With 7 power, it's just going to be a play to the left side. They're going to run Jermaine Chaney behind Jamie Vanderbilt and Robert Barr, and they're going to run right over that left side.
Derek Branch is split wide left, Galloway in the slot.
Blue 28.
Always dangerous Mario Bailey to the right. They go back on the ground. Jermaine Chaney finds a hole and picks up first down yardage, and that's got them on their feet.
He said Jamie Vanderbilt, and Jamie is the left guard. And Jermaine Chaney grabbed his hip pocket on that play. You're going to see the left guard, number 66, Vanderbilt, pull and kick out Mike Kroll. And he gets a seal block on Kroll, and all Chaney does is look for daylight. Now hug the pocket of that guard and look for daylight. Anytime you got to have Kerry Joseph come from his free safety spot to make the play, you know you're doing good things up front.
13 yards.
Monday.
We've got sun and rain here at the Waldstadion now.
Blue 6.
Ditto will pass. He swings it out to Chaney. And Chaney evades one tackler, gets maybe a yard. Tim Denton was coming up to force him out of bounds. And officially, where they've spotted that one, they'll give him 3 yards.
And that was Ditto's first completion of the day. You know, in this weather, he's got to get comfortable. He's got to get his feet set. He's not a real mobile guy. If you can pressure Chris Ditto, you can make him throw the ball very awkward. But he's a big guy. First thing you notice about Chris is he's 6'6", and a solid 230 pounds. He can take a hit.
Now they have marked it back. It's going to be second down and 9.
Blue 28.
And through the monsoon, Ditto throws. It's complete. It's a first down. Mario Bailey, the cult hero here in Frankfurt with his first catch of the World Bowl.
In a Rhein buster. I mean, you know, when Mario Bailey plays against Rhein, he has huge days. He's got 13 passes this year in 2.
Jermaine Chaney with a huge hole. And he'll pick up 14 more. Chris Schelling was the first man there. There was nobody there before Schelling made the stop.
Well, they also have some new plays to the playbook. Just the way we saw him run left behind Jamie Vanderbilt, this time he runs behind the right guard, Patrick Agoffa. And Agoffa gets a good seal block on the outside against Shatoni Sargent, and it was all daylight.
And that's the end of the first quarter with the Fire leading, but the Galaxy driving.
Affect him that much.
On first down, they give it to Chaney again. Not much doing on that occasion. The Fire read it all away, and a loss of a couple of yards. Wardell Rouse coming up from outside linebacker. That'll bring up second and long. Martin Drever watching on the sideline.
Guys don't mind this rain. You know, when you're winning 10-0, the weather has no effect on you at all. You kind of like it after a while. You want to get muddy, and you want to get dirty, you want to get wet.
Branch wide left, Bailey wide right, Galloway in the slot, Chaney in the backfield. Second and long. Frankfurt like their tight ends in these situations. Ditto looks, fires, has a man wide open, and it's first down yardage once again for the Frankfurt Galaxy. And just as I mentioned tight ends, Vince Marrow comes up.
What do you have, the playbook in here, Nick? You wild in Dick Curl? That is the league's best tight end. Vince Marrow caught 32 passes this year. They love finding him over the middle of the field. And one of the factors I thought Ryan had to do today,
On one, ready?
Beaver right forward, is going to play right off the right tackle, Pete DeMario and Pat Goffel.
Set!
Same formation, Branch and Bailey, the wideouts, Galloway, the slot.
Blue 28!
This time they go on the ground to Jermaine Chaney, who is there unstopped, and will officially lose a yard, so that'll be second down and 11. Chris Schelling coming up from safety. Chaney, by the way, playing with an injury as well. He's got a bruised hip.
And he has to go the distance really today. He has been rotating all year with Bernard Rutherford.
Can't stay at Chris Schelling. What on earth is that all over his face? The Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera, he looks like he should be in Halloween 4.
Blue 28!
I tell you, if he came to tackle me, I'd drop the ball. Looking like that. Second down, they go again, and it's picked off, but a flag comes in. Robert Davis will take it out of bounds. That ball batted up in the air and picked off, but we're going to have to wait for Tony Correnti and his crew to sort this one out.
Tim Denton was all over him and looked like he got to Mario Bailey before he got to the ball.
And that's the call.
That's defensive pass interference on this play.
So Robert Davis's moment of glory has passed.
On the defense, number 23. First down.
There it is. Actually, that's good defense by Tim Denton. You know, he's just using his left arm to bat that ball away from Mario Bailey, but from the standpoint of the side judge, he saw Denton hit Mario before the ball got there. Never allowed him a chance to catch it. That's a good matchup. That is a good matchup. Tim Denton there from the Washington Redskins against Mario Bailey.
Well, a lot of us feel that have watched this league for a few years and should be in the NFL.
Set! Blue 28!
It's a first down after the penalty at the 19-yard line. Frankfurt looking to try and get back into the game. Chaney won't get much there, maybe a yard. Joe Gordon, the nickelback, coming up and making the stop, and that'll be second and long.
Now, this Rhein Fire defense has been, I think, the strength of this team all year. And when they jumped out to that 6-0 record to start the season, it was the defense. It was the pressure up front, the defensive front playing defense, and the offensive backfield. And right there, you see Joe Gordon coming in from the corner slot. They've held teams to under 80 yards a year of this season, which is excellent for a football team.
Mike 57.
Bailey and Branch, the wideouts,
58, set! Blue
on
28!
second and long.
Blue 28!
The rain is now starting to lighten up. Ditto has a lot of time. Now he gets rid of it to Chaney, who moved intelligently inside. And Chaney will pick up 6 yards with Vince Bradford making the stop. But Chaney reacted so well to the situation there.
Nice shot there of the rainbow coming up. And for Rainbow right now, this is Chris Ditto. Looks like the end of a rainbow. Because what a quarterback gets measured by, what happens when the play breaks down? How do you improvise? And being able to find Jermaine Chaney right there and be able to pick up positive yards, that's something that Brett Favre has become the league's MVP by doing. But when the things break down, improvise, make a play.
The two tight end package coming in on 3rd and 4. They're well into field goal range, but I think the Galaxy will be thinking 6 here.
Blue 28!
3rd and 4. Ditto will drop back to pass. And he has a man. Has Werner Hippler inside the 5.
He doesn't go down easy now.
Oh, no, he doesn't. He's still fighting for yardage.
Now, this team likes to throw the ball at tight ends. 54 completions this year to the tight ends between Hippler, Marrow, and Mose Regular. And he finds them. And Werner Hippler is an outstanding receiver. And he is what I think should be the ambassador of football in this league. You know, from Cologne, Germany, mayor of Cologne, Germany, for all practical purposes, and teaches this game of football everywhere he goes.
Meanwhile, we've got a Rhein Fire player down injured, which is the price you pay when you tackle big Werner Hippler. It's Wardell Rouse, the outside linebacker,
who was covering him on the play. And I love Werner Hippler. Here's a guy that learned to play the game in Germany.
And you see he went over to talk to Wardell Rouse there as well.
Well, you know, sportsmanship. You know, I mean, he's just a good guy. And, you know, he said that football to him is like chess with live people. You know, it's a thinking game. And I think the people in Germany have started to pick up on it. And as the game gets more and more popular here, they're becoming more and more in tune with the nuances of the game and the strategy involved in this game. And he has been an ambassador for it for all these years, and a good chance that he'll get signed by the Detroit Lions after the season, Nick. Bobby Ross, who coached him in San Diego and the Chargers in '96, is in love with him, and he thinks that with the retirement of one of the tight ends there's a shot.
Yeah, Big Pete Metzelaars has finally called it a day. Here's the injury to Wardell Rouse, but Hippler.
You saw Tim Denton just bounce right off of Werner Hippler. That's how solid he is. Werner Hippler lost weight this year, tried to get a little quicker, a little faster, down from 290 down to about 270 now, and he feels more comfortable at that weight.
Rouse, meanwhile, coming off very slowly. They have a good linebacking group, though, the Rhein Fire.
Well, what they'll do is they'll play Jamie Baisley in there at linebacker now, along with Vince Bradford and Kevin Jefferson. Mark Brook also will get time at linebacker.
And all those guys have made plays this year. It's 1st and goal at the 3-yard line. The Galaxy trailing by 10, but threatening to cut that deficit here. Ditto with the pitch back. Cheney goes in.
Some drive.
We got ourselves a World Bowl, Brian.
Oh, hey, you know, this is the two best teams. And they got here because they are able to execute. When you get a new player step in like Chris Ditto, Jim Arellanes, you step up, you get an opportunity, and you make the best of that opportunity. And right now, I think both quarterbacks are doing that. And Jermaine Cheney has got to carry the bulk of the plays today because Raynard Rutherford is out with bruised ribs.
Ralph Kleiman, last week's hero, will attempt to tack on the extra point in the driving rain. No problem for the man from Cologne, and it's the Rhein Fire who continue to lead, but the Galaxy on the board, courtesy of Jermaine Cheney. Thanks very much, Mike and Kevin. Up here in the booth, Nick Halling and Brian Baldinger. And Brian, another look at this touchdown from the Frankfurt Galaxy that really has given us this game.
Yeah, you can see Mose Regler played fullback on that play. He got the kick-out block on Kerry Joseph, and then Jamie Vanderbilt pulled through the hole. And there's 66. Vanderbilt felt like he scored falling on top of Jermaine Cheney.
The kick fielded by Kerry Joseph. And Joseph just loses his footing at the 23-yard line.
Ingo Seibert with that tackle. A valuable guy on special teams. And that's impressive. Chris Ditto, very sharp there on that drive, finding his tight ends over the middle. 12 plays, 80 yards in this type of weather. A real credit to this offense, able to execute in this weather and under these conditions to go the distance when they have to.
And both these quarterbacks in the groove now. They've both made some plays. They've both done some good things.
Yeah, these are experienced quarterbacks right now. And they're not rookies. They're not first-time starters anymore. These guys are experienced and they're in the flow of the game.
Now the spotlight back on Jim Arellanes from Fresno State. And he gives it to Derek Clark, who is such a load when he's fully fit, but he's nursing those bruised ribs, Brian, and I don't care what anybody says. When you're nursing bruised ribs, you're thinking about getting hit.
You can't do anything with bruised ribs. It's hard to sleep. Forget about laughing. Don't tell any jokes to somebody that has bruised ribs because that's torture.
Flag on the play, incidentally.
Yeah, going to get a personal foul on this play by Hillary Butler, who gets knocked out of the frustration right there, diving over the top of the pile as he got driven out by Bob Cronenberg.
Foul, unnecessary roughness, number 54 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
Well, it was Artie Ullman they assessed, but you were right there, Brian. That was Butler.
Well, Butler was just frustrated.
Bottom line is you can't give away penalties like that at any level, certainly not in a championship game. That's moved the Fire deep out of their own territory. They're now at their own 43.
As an offensive line and an offensive team, once you get past the 40-yard line, you think it's downhill. The field looks a whole lot shorter than it does at the 20.
They show blitz. Derek Clark gets nailed. Sean Banks from behind. Clark doesn't look to quite have the power and the confidence that he's got when he's fully healthy.
And I don't think this team does either, because this team has led the league in rushing this year, over 128 yards a game. The last 2 weeks now, in 2 losses, come from behind losses, this team has averaged less than 100 yards. And right now, if you want to control a 3-4 team, you got to control the nose tackle. And right there, Mel Agee controlled Darren Patrick and stopped that play. And it helped that Sean Banks snipped it out from the backside and got in on the action.
Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11 from their own 42. It's stopped raining, the sun's out. The ball is on the ground again.
That's amazing. If they recover this now, that's the 4th exchange fumble between Arellanes and Darren Patrick.
Arellanes has picked it up. Yeah, there's 4 of them, plus they've fumbled and picked it up as well. That's 5 times that ball's been down, and they've got it every time.
You know, when that ball's on the ground, it's kind of like a loose ball in basketball. And I always think that the aggressive teams gets their share of the loose balls. And right now, for Frankfurt not to have fallen on one of those balls, I got to believe that they're not playing as aggressively as they should be.
Big loss. Brings up 3rd and long for Arellanes, and the jeering and the whistling and the booing has forced Arellanes to burn a timeout with 8:50 left in this first half, and the Fire facing 3rd down and 13, but leading the World Bowl 10-7. They both looked so nervous, Kevin, beforehand. They were trying to laugh it off and say, yeah, I feel good, I feel fine. But of course you could tell, you could just see it in their eyes that they were a little bit nervous. But Brian and I were just saying that those nerves have gone a little bit now, Brian, haven't they? They've done some things.
Well, you know, they've made it easy for them. Both coaches, I think, have made things easy for these guys. Easy, simple passes. You got the big play action pass to Marcus Robinson early to get rid of those butterflies and nerves.
But this is a real test for Arellanes, 3rd and 13, and he dumps it off. But it's going to be close to first down yardage, but close, not quite good enough for Harold Bishop, the big tight end, who got himself open. He's going to be 1.5 yards short. Although he's not happy with the spot, but that looked a good call by the officials.
And Harold Bishop, that's his 20th catch of the season. He's going to see him. He's split out into the slot right here. Again, they're running the Hayward Clay on the backside. And Arellanes gets rid of that football just as Katie Williams is bearing down on him. Gets rid of that ball just in time. And now you're going to see Greg Evans and Kenny McIntyre come up for the hit. That's McIntyre who dove underneath them.
You mentioned McIntyre there. He's going back to return this punt. And as Monarchs fans know all too well, anything can happen. Although they're bringing the chains out, but it's a long way short. I mean, that's not even worth a measure.
No. Kenny McIntyre, of course, was the difference last week in the punt return game, a 57-yarder in overtime that set up the game-winning field goal by Ralph Kleinsman. And the Rhein Fire have been poor on their punt coverage this season.
There is Kenny Mack, who led the league in punt returns, but he does great things, but he does dumb things as well. You never quite know what Kenny Mack's going to do, and I don't think he knows what he's going to do. 2
great plays from him last week and 4 horrible plays, and when the ball is wet on wet turf, he becomes a very high-risk factor.
Well, I had a chat with him in the locker room before the game. I mean, Dick Cole, well, to hear me say this, but I said, Kenny, there's never been a punt return for a touchdown in a World Bowl. He said, is that right?
You didn't jinx him and say that will there be tonight.
You could see it in his eyes. Cochran gets it away. It's a good kick. McIntyre's not going to do anything with that. And it's down at the 1 yard line by Joe Gordon. You cannot play it any better than that.
That was the biggest play and the turning point last week for the Frankfurt Galaxy. Kenny McIntyre down 1 at the 1, and the very next play, Mike Quinn fumbled to John Vaughn, and the Frankfurt Galaxy recovered, got in the end zone to make it a 14-7 game.
It's a very healthy crowd here in Frankfurt. We haven't got the official figure yet. I've got to say it's over 50,000. Derek Clark on the sideline talking to Galen Hall. Dick Curl on the other sideline sending in the plays. Dick really down to just one regular running back, Jermaine Chaney. Renard Rutherford, he's out of the game. He can't play today. He has hip and rib problems. He's got Ingo Seibert, but has been reluctant to use him this season. Now, from their own 1, Ditto, and the Galaxy will look to pass, and he's looking for Mario Bailey. And that's out of bounds.
That's a great matchup, Nick. Now, Tim Denton and Mario Bailey last week, there must have been 10 passes thrown towards Mario Bailey. He caught 6 last week, and Tim Denton was work. And you're going to see him one-on-one on the outside now. And Mario Bailey's doing nothing but running what you call just a streak. He's going to take it up and shake him, and now just come straight down the sideline. Now it's a foot race. And Mario Bailey gets behind him, but Ditto's a little slow getting the football.
Let's get it out now.
One thing Ryan doesn't want to do is give up the deep ball. They'll give up everything underneath, nothing deep.
That's the way they've played it all year. They go on the ground, and Cheney's got an awful lot of work to do from there. And maybe gets a couple of yards, and that's it. And the Fire read that one all the way, and that's going to bring up 3rd and long, and they're still inside their own 5-yard line.
And this is a huge play for the Rhein Fire defense, because this is a momentum builder when you're on defense. You keep a team pinned down, locked inside the 5-yard line, and force a punting situation like Bill Kushner deep in his end zone. You think offensively you're going to get the ball in good field position.
So a big play offensively for the Frankfurt Galaxy. They're still pinned at their own 3-yard line. Cheney in the backfield. And that's where they're going. And Cheney will get his way to the 8-yard line. But that's short of first down yardage. He had to get to the 11, and the punting unit will come out, but at least that's given Bill Kushner a bit of breathing room.
Well, Dick Curl played it safe here. They had a lot of success with this play, pulling the lead guard, and kicking out on the force. Jermaine Cheney almost was able to slide through there, and I don't mean just slide on the ground. He almost slid through there in the hole. Jermaine Cheney averaged 4 yards a carry this year, and he's above that right now. He's doing his job.
Bill Kushner will kick it away to Kerry Joseph, who's waiting at midfield. Flags come in. Not a good kick.
That's a return ball.
Kushner. Joseph with a chance at a return, as you say, Brian, but he slipped and didn't get much. Seemed a little bit tentative there, and then he just got flattened by Cedric Clark, but we're going to have to assess the flag.
Well, what they really miss is Larry Rhines, who's not in uniform tonight. 2nd in this league in punt returns, and is always a threat anytime he catches it. And with him out, Kerry Joseph, who's sure-handed, he's not going to drop the ball, but he's also not going to make the big return.
Penalty is assessed against the Galaxy, so a decision for the Fire. They've got the ball in good field position here. Do they make them kick it again, or do they just take it?
Well, that was a bad punt by Bill Kushner. It was a low trajectory. It didn't have a lot of distance on it.
Motion on the kicking team, number 27. The penalty is declined. First down.
Well, the defense did their job. And that's Michael Reed over there getting looked at. He's out of the game right now. Kenny McIntyre taking over for him. Mike, and I think just talking to Nick during the break, neither defense has made a play yet. And I think Frankfurt has got on this 4-game winning streak to end the season because they've had the ability to make plays and they found a way to win. So far, they haven't generated, any sort of play. They've had opportunities with the ball on the ground to recover it. They just haven't been able to come up with it.
And it's the Fire that are leading by 3 with 5:47 left in this first half, but they've got excellent field position here. Derek Clark is back in the backfield on first down for the Fire. Arellanes will drop to pass. The blitz comes, but they get rid of it. A wide open Derek Clark will pick up first down yardage, and he hangs on to the ball with KD Williams wrapped all over him, and they work that play to perfection, and Clark significantly held on. The knock against him is he does cough it up in those situations.
Now, he's fumbled 6 times this year, but he's also caught a lot of passes this year. He's caught 14 passes this season, a lot just like this. He's a safety valve in this play. There goes Sylvester right on the blitz, and Jim Arellanes read it perfectly. Got rid of the ball in time, and he got it to Derek Clark in position to do something with it after the catch. And this is a good matchup. Hillary Butler and Derek Clark, that's a collision.
Don't want to get in the middle of that, that's for sure. Play action. Arellanes rolls to his right, looks, fires, he overthrows his intended receiver. He had a man open, but Burks couldn't quite come up with it, and that's going to bring up second down and 10. There's Mike Quinn, who really wanted to play today. Just having a little discussion there with Arellanes, and Quinn just could not go today, could he?
No, he couldn't go today. We saw him out there on the field beforehand, and this was the all-NFL Europe quarterback selection, allowing Arellanes to make his first start, and I like that. I like Mike Quinn, who knew he couldn't play today, over on the sidelines, coaching, his backup all season and helping him out. It's all about team, and I think Quinn's that kind of guy.
Second down and 10. Clark in the backfield. And the give is to Clark, and Clark plows his way and loses the ball. That's a live ball. Or are they saying he was down?
They're saying he's down.
Oh, Clark got a break there.
That is driving Galen Hall nuts. As this team has fumbled 18 times this year, losing 8 of them, and that man has lost 6.
And that's the 6th time the ball has been down today for the Rhein Fire. How much longer is their luck going to hold?
Well, you know,
and I thought this was a fumble, but no, it's a good call by the officials.
yeah, Israel Stanley's got him wrapped up, and the knee did hit down, and when the knee is down, the man is down, and the ball pops out after that. And Derek Clark is having a good day. That's good. He picked up over 50 yards in the first half. He's on his way to 100, and that's what he wants.
So they pulled him out now on 3rd down. It's John Vaughan in the backfield. Kevin Lee, the motion man. The blitz comes. And Arellanes looks for Burks. Touchdown, Rhein Fire. Oh, he got it.
Dallo Burks with his 2nd touchdown catch tonight.
Hey, I'm waiting for the fucking ball. All right? Bring me the ball.
I don't know how he got hold of that one, Dallo Burks, but it's his 2nd of the ball game.
Oh, what a great catch. What a great catch this is. Watch Dallo Burks lay out for this ball and cradle it so it doesn't get to the ground. He got underneath it between the safety, Chris Hall, and scooped it up. And they come on a blitz on that play, and they picked it up.
Bergsmuller will tack on the extra point, and with 3:36 left first half, the visiting Rhein Fire have a 10-point lead, courtesy of this fella here, Dallo Burks, who's only playing because of the injury to Larry Ryan.
He's beating Kenny McIntyre to play, and look at him scoop this ball up and keep it off the ground, and then take the slide. That is a thrill. He will remember that catch. Might be one of the greatest catches he's ever made. And what an atmosphere to catch that ball in, and Arellanes' reaction. He just floated that ball, and it was, I mean, you couldn't throw it any better, Nick. It was the only place he could get that in between Chris Hall and Kenny McIntyre.
I'll tell you what, Burks is coming up big time tonight in the championship game. That's his 2nd catch, both of them for touchdowns.
4th touchdown of the year, only 13 catches all season. And that man right there is Mike Jones, the wide receiver coach. And he's got to feel very good right now because they're missing, I think, their best wide receiver in Larry Ryan. And to be able to fill in with Dallo Burks right now is a credit to the job he's done.
Back up, Tony.
And Galen Hall, who hands so much of the offense over to Ken Karcher, the offensive coordinator as well. Dick Curl, not a happy man. Well, Arellanes talking to Ken Karcher, who's upstairs at our level, seeing everything. And I think Karcher's put in a lot of wrinkles that we didn't expect to see today, offensively for the Fire. Fielded by Ingo Seibert. And Seibert takes a short kick to the 32-yard line. The man who once played for the Munich Cowboys. And it's time once again for Chris Ditto to respond. It was a good drive last time he came out, Brian.
Yeah, it was. And, you know, and it starts with him.
860 Giants, 8
This is the passingest team in this league. I mean, they throw the ball 67% of the time. They put the ball up in the air. And last week, Chris Ditto came in to start the 2nd half in overtime.
Right,
he threw 42
Giants,
passes
swing,
during that
right?
time. I thought his arm might be falling off. It might be black and blue. But it's a strong arm. He likes to put it in the air. He's got a bunch of good receivers.
Branch at the bottom of your screen. Bailey, top of your screen.
Yeah,
Mitchell
6.
Galloway in the slot. Cheney
Blue
in the
6.
backfield. And Ditto will drop to pass on 1st down and has good protection and finds a wide open Jermaine Cheney. And Cheney skips his way past the first tackler and will pick up positive yardage. 7 yards before he's stopped by Kevin Jefferson, the middle linebacker.
It's Beaver right, 7 power. Beaver right, 7 power.
And that's just going to be over the left side. They're going to run right behind Robert Barr and Jamie Vanderbilt again.
Beaver right, 7 power.
And Cheney's had good success running behind his guards. And I think we got to be impressed, Nick, by the play of both quarterbacks tonight.
Oh, yeah. No question about that, Brian. 2 young men who could have really choked in a big game atmosphere.
Blue
But
28.
they've both risen to this occasion.
Blue 28.
There is to give to Cheney, who's got no chance. Jefferson and Kroll nailed him.
Kroll played that kick-out block by Jamie Vanderbilt perfect that time. Came to meet it and destroyed the play. You're going to see Kroll now. He's going to come in. He's going to take on the lead left guard, Jamie Vanderbilt. And he closes down. See, he keeps his feet. He stays an athlete. He stays alive. Doesn't go down and makes the play on Cheney. And Mike Kroll, the former 1991 AFC Rookie of the Year, trying to play his way back into the NFL.
The Bears have got to be impressed with what they've seen from him, Brian, as well.
Blue 6.
Loss of yardage, third down. And they've got the big tight end once again, and that's first down yardage for Vince Marrow, and they'll move the chains as we come to the 2-minute warning in what's been a dramatic first half of this 1998 World Bowl. It's the Fire leading by 10, but the Galaxy driving. Meanwhile, back on the field, first down. And they've gone to an empty backfield, the Galaxy, 5 receivers in. And Ditto throws and finds Jermaine Chaney, who worked Kevin Jefferson, got himself wide open ahead of Jefferson and will pick up 9 yards.
Jermaine Chaney was the leading receiver for running backs in this league this year. He caught 24 passes, and he's more than just a safety valve for this quarterback. They like Jermaine Chaney's quickness against linebackers in one-on-one coverage.
Kevin Jefferson, the former Cincinnati Bengal, is the man who was beaten there. Second and short. I wonder if Ditto will think about going long here.
It's an audible right there, Nick.
They play it safe. Jermaine Chaney picks up first down yardage. Vince Bradford from the San Francisco 49ers making the stop. But with 1:16 left on the clock, Brian, and I think they've still got some timeouts in hand, the Galaxy are in good shape.
Well, you know, one of the jobs as a quarterback is to be able to manage the clock in a 2-minute drill. And Chris Ditto did that in week 5 when he got an opportunity to play because of the blowout circumstances. Right here, you're going to see Jermaine Chaney. You're going to see his feet now. You know, he's able to hold the ground enough on this wet surface to be able to make that cut and be able to dance through the hole right there. A good shot. Nice work by the cameras here, capturing the footwork of Jermaine Chaney.
Yeah, because people forget, when it stops raining, that doesn't mean that the field suddenly dries up. I mean, that is a bog down there almost.
No, it is a bog. It's a rice paddy. And the guys that get the good fitting are the guys that can make a play. And footing and what they do at halftime, and they'll adjust spikes at halftime, Nick. They'll go to a bigger spike, a different type of shoe, anything they can get to get better footing.
First down at the Fire, 39 for the Frankfurt Galaxy. They're trailing by 10.
Blue 28.
Late in this first half. Ditto will throw again. What a hit, but it's a completion. Mitchell Galloway hanging on despite the attention of Kerry Joseph, and a pickup of 3 yards.
Ball got tipped at the line of scrimmage, and Chris Ditto going right to a no-huddle offense right now. Calling a play right at the line of scrimmage.
Inside the final minute of this first half. Ditto looking to pass again. Feels the heat, rolls away and is down.
No way!
Dwayne Ashman from the Denver Broncos
Timeout.
applied the pressure
Timeout.
and tripped Ditto up.
I didn't throw the ball.
And Ditto got lucky there.
He did get lucky.
A fumble.
I did.
That ball, that was a sack by Dwayne Ashman. And that's his 5th sack of the season. And that was just a hustle sack. Chris Ditto's not very mobile. I mean, if there's one shortcoming of Chris at 6'6" and 230, he's not very quick.
Ed Fillions had a good couple of games against the Frankfurt Galaxy, 4 sacks against them. And it was him that was applying all kinds of pressure and havoc on that Frankfurt offensive front that allowed Ashman to get through. But we talked about that Galaxy offensive line. They've given up a lot of sacks this season.
Yeah, the quarterbacks have been sacked 30 times, second most in this league. And, you know, Damon Heward took a beating throughout the season, and Damon Heward right there, actually, they've done a very good job of protecting him here today. And there is a disadvantage on this wet surface for defensive linemen. They don't get off the ball quite as quickly because they have to be concerned about their footing. And so it is an advantage for offensive line.
Right.
Outstanding day for Chris Ditto.
Mike, Jet ZA swing on one.
Dwayne Ashman with his 5th sack of the season makes it 3rd down and 17 for the Galaxy.
It's time to look for Mario Bailey.
Blue 28.
The man who always plays
Blue
big
28.
against the Rhein Fire. Ditto with time looks in the direction of Bailey, and 2 Rhein Fire defensive backs were there. If it had been one of them, that was an interception, and Tim Denton was disgusted at the situation.
Badly underthrown. 1-on-1, we said this is the matchup here to look at here today. Mario Bailey against Tim Denton. Just a straight fly pattern, and Denton is in great shape. He never plays the man, he plays the ball all the way. And it would have been intercepted, but Kerry Joseph came over, was a little too aggressive, and they fought off to the football, and that's why it's not an interception.
So the punting unit on for the Galaxy, Bill Kushner, who kicked 10 times last week. He gets away the kick. It's a good one that's fielded at the 4-yard line. And Joseph with 30 seconds remaining in the first half. The Rhein Fire will have the ball at their own 21-yard line.
Take a look back at Kerry Joseph's uniform. It's real muddy. He's been sliding all over the place, and it's going to be hard to see his number after a while.
There's confusion on the field. Nobody's quite sure who this flag is against.
Holding on the kicking team, number 21. The penalty is refused. First down.
Kenyon Branscombe is assessed.
I think Galen Hall has to feel very fortunate this time to be up 17-7. For Jim Arellanes to be playing as well and as poised as he is. And the number of fumbles they've had, not to have given that ball up yet, and to be up 10. They're going to feel happy at halftime. I would not expect them to do anything crazy here with 30 seconds left.
6 times the ball's been on the ground, put there by the Rhein Fire, and 6 times it's a white jersey that's come up with it. And Arellanes is taking no chances here and drops to a knee. And that will be the last act of the first half of the 1998 World Bowl. The Rhein Fire with a 10-point lead, 17-7. But I've got a feeling there's going to be an awful lot to come still in this game. We're going to take a short timeout. We'll be back at the Waldstadion in Frankfurt in a few moments. The score, the Rhein Fire leading the Frankfurt Galaxy 17-7.
Two tight ends, Quinn turns and hands it to him again. And this time, Derek Clark has his second touchdown tonight and the unparalleled of his career in Europe. Rutherford on the opening possession. Now follows the ball. The ball is scooped up. Brandon Noble. Barcelona will lead. Brandon Noble. Mike Quinn. Rolls to the far side. Cranks it deep down the field. And a leaping grab is made. Robinson touchdown.
Blitz comes. They give it to Edwards. Edwards squirts through and has got a lot of running room. Now it's a foot race. Can Ricky Parker catch him? No, he can't. Touchdown, England. 54 yards. What a play.
On first down. Warner's got to hurry now. Less than 4 minutes remain. He comes over the middle of the field and another interception. Chris Hall's third of the night, and he's still on his feet. At the 30, the 20, end zone bound, touchdown Frankfurt. Jim Mallard at quarterback on the roll. Throws, and that is caught by Chris Miller. Miller, a loose ball though, and it picked up on the bounce by Jerry Reese. And Reese is gone. Touchdown, Claymore. 4-man rush. Ritchie throws deep downfield for Marco Martos. Tap, Marco breaks the catch. Touchdown, Barcelona. Stoffel comes in motion. The handoff to Hunter, who breaks through after an initial hit and is still on his feet at the 40. At the 30-yard line, he dances, heads toward the end zone, and scores.
And Vogel will take it at midfield. And he's got room outside. Vogel turns it on. He'll go the distance. Anthony Vogel, touchdown.
Ritchie from his goal line. Airs it out for Scher, who makes the catch and is gone. 10-5. Touchdown.
Well, the feeling is up here that do they have the offense to go deep early? Does Ditto have the arm? I mean, you know, we've looked at the Rhein Fire defensive backs, and Mario Bailey's gone up against Tim Denton a couple of times. Richard Jones, Brian, we haven't even called his number.
Yeah, well, you know, the fact is that the number one priority of the Rhein Fire defense is not give up the big play. You don't get behind this defense. You got to take what the defense gives you. And on their touchdown drive today, they went 12 plays and 80 yards. And right now, what you have to look at and be impressed by is the passing yards of Frankfurt. I mean, only 60 yards out of Chris Ditto and that team. And on the other side, look what Jim Arellanes has done, 142 yards. So he's getting it done in the air. And then the other thing is that when Rhein gets the ball in the red zone, they've been able to score in all their opportunities. But we wouldn't expect great rushing today simply because of the field conditions. Very difficult to stay on your feet.
But the good news is that the Frankfurt Galaxy are going to get their hands on the ball first of all. Mitchell Galloway, one of 3 men back deep, waiting for this second half kickoff. One of these two teams 2 quarters away from glory. Will it be the Rhein Fire, who lost in the World Bowl last year, or will it be the Frankfurt Galaxy in their 3rd World Bowl in 4 years? And that's a terrible kickoff from Danny Kite. That just gives the ball to the Frankfurt Galaxy at the 40-yard line. That's terrible.
That's a horrible way to start, and it gives that man, great field position.
So Ditto will take over from his own 40-yard line. That's like a couple of free first downs almost for the Galaxy.
Nothing can get you into the flow of a game quicker than a score. Now, only 4 possessions in the first half. They didn't have the ball long because Rhein Fire was able to control it. And then, on their 1 touchdown drive, it was 12 plays over 6 minutes. The clock got chewed up fast.
I think this is an interesting and important drive for Frankfurt as Jermaine Chaney blasts his way through midfield and still on his feet inside the 40. What a run! Flags everywhere, but Chaney down at the 32-yard line. Now that is intensity. We've got to check those flags.
That is great strength out of Jermaine Chaney on that 39-yard run. And Chaney is 212 pounds. He's strong. He shows the ability to make people miss and then carry people on his back.
But I tell you, if this one comes back, that'll be a real emotional letdown for the Galaxy.
They got a face
and
mask
it goes
on.
against the Rhein Fire.
Yeah, trying to drag Jermaine down. They got an inadvertent hand on the face mask. Right there, Timmy Denton.
Grabbing the face mask, number 23 on the defense. 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, it's
first down.
15 yards, Nick, because he did not take his hand off that face mask. You're going to see Chaney right here behind Patagoffa. Kicks out, now Chaney cuts behind. Now the foot waste is on. Look at that play. And that's Denton trying to bring him down by the face mask. Trying to strip the ball. He holds on to the football. Mike Kroll trying to knock it loose. And that's a huge play. 39 yards on the run, 15 on the penalty.
And they started at their own 40 because of the kickoff that went straight out of bounds. So the Galaxy in one player inside the 20-yard line. Jermaine Chaney trying to get close to the 10-yard line. Kevin Jefferson in on the stop. And that's going to be a 6-yard pickup for Chaney and the intensity all with the Galaxy right now.
2 plays from the kickoff, and you're already down on the 12-yard line. Making plays. It started with a bad kickoff, and we've seen this from the Rhein Fire this year, Nick. Second half collapses. In all of their losses, they have found a way to give the game away by making bad plays.
And the Galaxy, when their character has been tested, they've always come through. Chaney again. Chaney tries to string it out and will lose yardage. And will lose, in fact, 6 yards. Mike Kroll, number 51, was there to meet Chaney. They've tried that play a couple of times, and it's failed both times.
Chaney now had 17 touches of the ball in the first half. And he's had 3 here already today. You wonder how long he can hold up. And Mike Kroll right there fights off the block by Jamie Vanderbilt and does a good job of stringing it out and then bringing down Chaney in the open field. Now, that's a great play by Kroll. And that's quickness and athletic ability.
And the ball back at the 18-yard line. 3rd down and 10. Ditto will throw. The pressure comes and he's hit.
Kroll.
And sacked. Walter Scott will be credited, but Kroll with the pressure.
And Olemani at the bottom of that pile as well. You're going to see Walter Scott here against Vanderbilt. Slaps Vanderbilt by, and now the race is on. And he went for the strip, and he got the strip. He actually knocked the ball out of Ditto's hands, and Ditto fell on it. Ditto never saw him, and he never felt him.
So Ralph Kleinman will attempt a 41-yard field goal. Despite his heroics last week, he's been very patchy. 8 of 16, and 3 have been blocked. The snap is high, and Kleinman,
the distance,
just no problem at all.
Wow.
And the Galaxy come out and start the second half hot. And despite the sack against Chris Ditto, they put 3 more points on the board, courtesy of Ralph Kleinman. And we've got quite a game brewing here, Brian.
commentary box with Nick and Bri. Guys, you are looking nice today.
First of all, this is an optical illusion. He's standing on a box. I think we need to get that right away.
Don't let it get you down, Nick.
I'll try not to.
If you look good, you feel good, you deliver great commentary, G. That's all there is to it.
That's exactly what you're doing today. You guys sound like you are having the best time today.
It's what the game is. I mean, we got all excited about the passion and the excitement, but then, these two teams are turning out a really good game. We're enjoying ourselves.
Well, we came excited today just because we love football. Nick's got a crazy passion for it, and I wish it would spread through the rest of the UK like it has him. But when you throw a good game on top of it in this atmosphere, it doesn't get any better than this.
All you got to do up here is help it along,
No, I've got to get a shot at the two guys behind you. Can you get them?
Yeah.
These are the guys that
Real
help you out.
stars. Here's the real stars. There's Kevin Duffy there in the terrible white shirt. He's our spotter. And Chris Hanley does our stats. Without those guys, we're nothing.
We've been working with these guys all season long, and it's a teamwork. And you travel as a team, and you get ready as a team, and you're up here together. Sometimes we're in small booths. It's crowded. Nick, deodorant, he's got to learn how to use it. Yeah, it's tough.
Thanks, guys. You got to get back to work now.
Yeah,
Thanks for talking.
You got it.
Yeah, thanks for that, Brian. No, everything going wrong for the Rhein Fire right now. A bobbled ball, but John Vaughan can't keep his feet. And the Fire are showing signs of nerves here, Brian.
But they've done that in the last 4 games of the season, where they've lost 3 of the 4, and they've had opportunities to win all the games. And the fact is that they've made just horrible errors. They beat themselves. Number one, they beat them with penalties. And then they lay the ball on the ground, and then they do foolish things. They give up big plays. They haven't played a complete 4 quarters since week 5 right here when they destroyed the Galaxy.
14 zone lead on one-on-one.
Arellanes working with poor field position. For the first time that I can remember in this game, Derek Clark is in the backfield. He's still pounding away despite those bruised ribs. And the give is to Derek Clark, who can't get outside. He looked to turn the corner, but Artie Ulmer was there from outside linebacker to make the stop.
Well, that's the 14 lead. They had Harold Bishop going in motion. And the Frankfurt Galaxy, the thing that they do in a 3-4 defense, they don't let you get outside.
And there's confirmation. This is the worst field position that they've had.
Right. What you see here is 3 scores out of 5 possessions. And that's good. That is a very productive offense, something they weren't last week when they punted 8 times.
Clark still managed to pick up 3 yards.
Got the corner.
And Clark will go again, get some blockers, and just lowers that injured shoulder and plows his way for first down yardage. Chris Hall eventually making the stop. Doesn't look to be too much wrong with those ribs of Derek Clark there. He lowered the shoulder there and just pounded the safety man.
Well, he got the lead blockers, Leslie Ratliff and Randy Wheeler, outside. And they go, that's a great block on Katie Williams by Wheeler. And now Chris Hall, he's trying to grab a wet, slippery uniform, nothing to grab onto. And that's where Clark right here is his strength. 200-pound defensive backs shouldn't bring down a 250-pound tailback / fullback.
First down for the Fire. Banak Movasagi is split wide to the left. Play action, Arellanes. He's got loads of time. He's got Robinson again. Robinson breaks through one tackle and he's gone.
The league's MVP shows why.
Touchdown, Rhein Fire. 73 yards.
Listen to his offensive line come up and jump on Jim Arellanes. That is the league's offensive MVP, and he showed why. It's a combination: size, speed, and tremendous athletic ability.
And they worked Alonzo Hampton, who's in, for the injured Michael Reed, who's out with a torn knee ligament.
This is a play-action fake. Now watch how Arellanes pull this ball down. He double pumped it, made sure that Robinson got away from Greg Evans. And again, the slippery uniform, not able to grab onto him. And you give Marcus Robinson a step, he'll take it the distance.
And the extra point is good as well, and Marcus Robinson picks up his second catch of the day. He's over 100 yards on 2 catches. He started off this ball game with that 40-yard pickup.
He's had big plays against Frankfurt this year, Nick. He's had 6 catches for 192 yards. That's over 30 yards a catch. And producing his second touchdown against the Galaxy.
And Jim Arellanes, we threw up a lot of question marks about him, Brian, going into this game, but he's answering an awful lot of those questions.
He sure is. And here's the action downfield to Robinson. He turns Greg Evans all the way around. Evans thought he had help in the middle of the field, and he did it. Anthony Cobbs was late getting there. And Cobbs, if there's a weakness in his game, he is not a physical player. He had to make that tackle and stop Robinson from getting into the end zone. But, you know, when you look at Marcus Robinson, Nick, you know, we all say it. The guy is a big specimen. You know, he looks like Michael Irvin and Herman Moore, these big physical receivers. Chris Carter, 215 solid pounds, and he was a track athlete at South Carolina way before he was a football player, and that's track-like speed. And
look at that passion.
Nobody has seen the emotion from Jim Arellanes because he hasn't been in the game. And, you know, there's no greater feeling.
Danny Kite, who's got the cleanest uniform of anyone on the field, kicks it off. Another shallow kick that's fielded in the 16 by Mitchell Galloway. And once again, the Galaxy are going to get pretty good field position as Galloway works his blockers and keeps his feet churning. But Marcus Robinson with that 74-yard catch it is officially. And I tell you, this crowd here, they're rocking and rolling, and it's a big crowd, as we said, Brian. But I tell you, this fella, Marcus Robinson, has silenced a pretty big percentage of it. Because this is a hometown crowd. And Marcus Robinson of the Chicago Bears, he's got a shot at making this team.
Well, I think, you know, when you look at Curtis Conway, he's a lock. But then everybody else, there's good competition there. Thomas Lewis, away from the New York Giants, he's competing. You know, Marcus Robinson will go to Chicago this year and compete not just for a roster spot, but for a starting spot.
So the pressure on Chris Ditto again. He starts from his own 36. It's incomplete. He was looking for Mario Bailey, who hasn't done much in this game so far. He had no chance with that one.
Surprisingly quiet. You know, we take a look at that roster there. Chris Miller, of course, played for the Scottish Claymores this year. You know, Chris Penn, not really a big name draft pick this year, and then Bobby Ingram. You know, you look at some names there, and you got to say Marcus Robinson is getting playing time now when guys like Fabian Bones and Eric Smith are just in mini camps. He's going to benefit tremendously by this league.
Eric Smith, another former Scottish Claymore, of course. Cheney on second down. Runs into trouble. Ed Fillion was there. And that's going to bring up third down and long.
You know, we spoke with Wes Chandler before the game. Wes Chandler said we have to score 24 points to have a chance. Well, 24 points only ties you at this point. And he said the second thing we got to do is we have to stay out of third and long situations. And now they're faced with third and 11. And these are the type of situations he wanted Chris to stay out of. That man Bailey has got to get involved in this offense for this offense to be effective.
One catch for 13 yards for Bailey so far.
Give a lot of credit to Tim Denton on the outside. He's put a blanket over him so far.
Well, I talked to Mario before the game. He said, this is it. This is my swan song. Last game. Third and long. Ditto with all kinds of time. It's tipped. And it's incomplete. And Mario Bailey again having no chance at all of getting into the game. Now the punting unit comes out.
Now here's the matchup. Tim Denton against Mario Bailey. And this ball gets tipped. Bailey actually beats Denton on his play. He gets some separation. That ball was tipped in the middle by Kevin Jefferson. And it threw Mario Bailey off as he was going for the ball.
So Bill Kushner is a busy man as the Galaxy offense stalls once again. Kerry Joseph doesn't want anything to do with that on it. Lands in a puddle and squirts down to about the 24-yard line. So the Rhein Fire under Jim Arellanes, who'd only thrown one pass before this game, are leading 24-10. The only reason, Mike, that he might not is the question mark against him is his maturity, and that's something that Ken Carter, the offensive coordinator here, has stressed. He says he doesn't know how good he can be yet. Meanwhile, on the ground for the Rhein Fire, John Vaughn won't get a lot. Israel Stanley will see to that. And Stanley was a big factor in this game a week ago. We haven't called his number too often tonight.
Well, we haven't called many defensive players' numbers, and if the Frankfurt Galaxy are going to get into this game, they've got to do it on defense. I mean, Ariana's making the plays right now, quarterback. But Frankfurt right now, defensively, has got to make a play. They did last week, down 14-0, forced a fumble down on the 1-yard line, scored the next play.
Mike Quinn can only watch as his teammates continue to pound away here in the World Bowl, and on the ground they're doing it now to the 36-yard line, and John Vaughn, the NFL veteran, will pick up enough yardage for another first down. Sylvester Wright and Chris Hall on the stop.
John Vaughn right here. You can see, now this is just straight ahead zone blocking, man on man. And right there you see Randy Wheeler digging out Israel Stanley. He's in there for pass rush. He's not a good run stuffer. And Randy Wheeler, that man right there, 61, dug Stanley out and opened up that hole for Vaughn.
And the Galaxy need a stand defensively here. Bishop is the motion man. On the ground they go, nothing doing there. Bruce Walker said, forget that. You run into Bruce Walker, you're going down.
That is a lot of real estate on that man's body. I mean, he's wide and he's big. And if you're going to stuff the run in this league, you got to do it at the nose tackle position. And he just threw Garen Patrick out of the way. And John Vaughn, who likes to cut back, ran into that wall.
310 pounds officially. He looks a bigger guy than that.
Yeah, he was 310 back in Atlanta before he started eating a lot of that Wiener Schnitzel here in Frankfurt.
A loss of 2 yards. The pitch back again goes to John Vaughn. And Vaughn looks to work his blockers and picks up 7 or 8 yards before he's hustled out of bounds by Sylvester Wright. A lot of traffic around Vaughn on that play.
A lot of talking going on too, and I tell you what it was a convoy. He had a convoy out front. He had Randy Wheeler out there and Leslie Ratliff, and they just kept pushing the pile. And his ground is so soft and slippery right now, the defensive linemen can't do what they like to call anchoring down and taking their stand. And if you think of this game as a game of real estate, right now the Rhein Fire are chewing up the real estate.
3rd down for the Fire. They need 6. And Arellanes swings it out, and again footing is a problem, and he's going to be brought up short. That is Bishop, the tight end.
It's a good play by Hillary Butler.
He's going to be a yard short at midfield, or close to midfield. In fact, it's at the 45-yard line of the Rhein Fire.
Galen Hall is not going to take any chances here. Going to send Nate Cochran out here to punt this ball away and let his defense play field position.
Well, again, they call it for the chase. He's actually got a better spot than it looked like originally, but I still think he's well short.
Yeah, it's tough to get a spot on this kind of a field, Nick, because you slide so much after the play.
I'll tell you, it's a lot closer than I thought it was, Brian, but he's got a good half a yard more than I thought he was perhaps deserved. He looked well short.
There's Bruce Walker in the middle. Now, we're going against Garen Patrick right now. He beats him. Now, he's just hustling. He's sliding. I mean, that's the belly slide going on right there. He shaved his head this morning for this game.
So here is Nate Cochran from the Miami Dolphins, and there is the former Monarch, Kenny McIntyre, the man who makes things happen, and how the Galaxy needs something to happen here.
Now, they need a play, and Kenny McIntyre provided 2 of them last week, none bigger than the one in overtime.
Well, Cochran's last one went all the way to the Frankfurt 1. What does he do here? It's another good kick. McIntyre backs up to his own 8. What can he do? Not a lot. They watched him all the way, but it's still a pretty decent return of about 18 yards for McIntyre, and the Galaxy will have the ball when we return. Yeah, Mike makes a good point that the tight ends are really the engine room of the Galaxy offense, the guys that keep things moving, but they're being pretty well contained by this good Rhein Fire linebacking group, Brian. We talk about this group of linebackers. They're as good as they are as anyone in the league.
Well, what they also do is they cover well. You know, you look at Kevin Jefferson and Vince Bradford, they cover very well. But I think that Mike makes a good point. When they did score on their 80-yard drive earlier in the game, it was Vince Marrow and Werner Hippler making the big plays on that drive to keep it moving.
Cheney is in the backfield. 1st down at the 26 for Frankfurt. 3rd quarter. They're trailing by 14. Ditto with all kinds of time finds Cheney, and Cheney will pick up 8 yards before he's stopped. Jamie Baisley, one of that linebacking crew, coming up, but 8 yards on 1st down for the Galaxy.
This Rhein Fire defense will frustrate you, and this is why. They only give you so much, and you have to take what they give you. And then what you have to do is you have to put a lot of plays together and execute for 10 or 12 plays in order to score. They're not going to give up the big play.
That's the philosophy that defensive coordinator Pete Kuharczyk has installed here. Cheney again getting tough yardage and picking up a 1st down. Baisley and Brooke combining on the stop. Question marks against Jermaine Cheney coming into this game. Brian, he's had a thigh strain, but he's holding up pretty well so far.
And he's getting a lot of action today, and you know, the key for them is to be able to keep him healthy on the field, because he's been a factor. Now, Kerry Joseph here is a physical presence. But watch Jermaine Chaney shake off this tackle by Kerry Joseph. I mean, Chaney ran right through him, and that's a guy that's touched the ball over 20 times today.
Well, they're aware of their defensive collapses in the second half of games recently, the Fire. Can Ditto engineer another one?
Wow.
A huge hit in the middle of the field there. Mitchell Galloway just flattened by Kerry Joseph, but you know what? He hung on.
They picked up a blitz. Jamie Baisley was coming full speed, and Chris Ditto, who's only making his first start this year, reads the blitz perfectly, and Kerry Joseph now is the next line of defense. And he's going to, that's a horse collar. That's a hog tie, take the head off, slam him to the turf.
3 yards for Galloway. Second down, the pressure comes, Ditto gets rid of it, finds Chaney again. Chaney can't keep his feet and is down by Mark Brook. Short of first down yardage, another 3 yards, and that's going to bring up a tricky 3rd down and 4 for the Galaxy.
And I'm wondering if Chris Ditto is having trouble hearing in his headphone right now, Wes Chandler, because he's running over to the sideline to dry off his hands and then to get the play as well. He wants to make sure that he's not going to slip with the center right here, Ben Lynch. And this is a key 3rd down to keep this drive moving.
3rd and 4. The Galaxy need it. They trail by 14. Less than 4 minutes remaining, 3rd quarter. Chaney in the backfield again. Ditto as a man. What a hit again. Werner Hippler just flattened by Kerry Joseph. I think he was embarrassed on that play 2 plays earlier, because nobody hits Hippler like that.
Well, Kerry Joseph has made his presence felt from the first day of training camp. A converted quarterback, they said, what is this guy doing in the backfield? Pika Harczyk didn't want him. Oh my, that's Werner Hippler now. That's 275 pounds, that's a decleater. He took his feet right off the ground and planted them on the turf, and now he has to go back and return a punt.
And most important of all, if he doesn't make that hit, it's a 1st down, because Hippler was brought up a yard short.
That's a Ronnie Lott type of hit at the safety position.
Oh, Ronnie would have been proud of that one.
Yes, he would.
The kick on its way, and Joseph will collect it at his own 14-yard line and can't spin away from Kenny McIntyre, who hustled down there. No return.
Yeah, fine
McIntyre,
job.
the gunner there.
Yeah, McIntyre made sure that Kerry Joseph was going to get away from him.
So once again, Frankfurt struggling offensively. They haven't found the spark.
Well, you know, what you have to do is you have to give credit right now to the Rhein Fire secondary. First of all, they're hitting like a bunch of locomotives back there. They're making their presence felt, and they're a sure tackling team. They bring you down in the open field, and they're not giving up anything deep. So Frankfurt right now looks frustrated to me. Yeah, they can't get Mario Bailey deep, and the underneath stuff, they're just clocking you when you come across the middle.
And I haven't even seen them try and find Derek Branch, who's been covered by Richard Jones. They haven't even tested that matchup. The Fire with Jim Arellanes, who's growing in confidence. He's got Haywood Clay, and Clay is brought down at the 45-yard line. Greg Evans and KD Williams with the stop, but Arellanes looking so cool, Brian.
Oh, very, very sharp. Everybody has to be extremely impressed. And then, you know, his new favorite target of the Rhein Fire is Haywood Clay, catching his 3rd pass tonight. A guy that used to line up, you thought he was an extra offensive tackle. And here he is beating KD Williams on this play. Gets behind KD. And Arellanes just very patient, perfect with the pass, hit him in stride.
1st down to the 43-yard line. Back on the ground, Derek Clark doesn't get much. Back to the line of scrimmage and no more. Bruce Walker in on the stop.
They're doing a good job up front. I'm impressed by what Walker and Mel Agee has done against the run. The difference has been that man, Jim Arellanes, a guy that was the unknown. He was the X factor coming in today. And, you know, he's going to go away from this game and up to Seattle next year or this summer and say, you know what, I know I can play. I'm going to have a lot more confidence after this game.
It'll be interesting to see how he gets on with John Kittner, the Barcelona Dragons MVP in the World Bowl last year. It was Kittner that told Arellanes, come over here, it'll do you good. Clark looking to cut back inside against the grain, and he'll lose yardage.
Dumb play. Dumb play on a bad turf. You're asking Derek Clark at 250 pounds to make a counter move, go one direction and then come back the other way. And right there is Ken Karcher, that offensive coordinator, who has changed the playbook dramatically in order to be effective today against Frankfurt.
There's a lot of people around the league, Brian, say that guy is a future head coach in this league.
Well, they just announced this past Saturday, Nick, that there'll be a new franchise in Berlin this year. Michael Lang will be the new general manager, and I'm sure Ken Karcher will get interviewed for that position.
3rd and long. I wonder if they're going to go to Haywood Clay again here. Arellanes with a lot of time finds Clark, and Clark's got a lot of work to do. Runs into Chris Hall and flattens him. Sean Banks was there too, but he's come up a couple of yards short.
Clark is playing hard.
Galen Hall says, kick it away.
Galen Hall's philosophy, Nick, is really very simple, very basic. Run the football, stop the run. Don't beat yourselves, and make the team drive the field. Play field position. And when you're up 14 points, that philosophy plays perfect.
And they may just about get this off before the 3rd quarter comes to an end. This may well be the last act of the 3rd quarter. Cochran kicks it away. McIntyre says, I'll fair catch that, which he does at the 14. And that is indeed the final act of the 3rd quarter. The Frankfurt Galaxy will have the ball to start the 4th quarter, but they are trailing by 14 points. It's the Rhein Fire 24, the Frankfurt Galaxy 10.
Up in the stands, I'm here with Jack Bicknell. Jack, you've been to the World Bowl twice. What's it like as a coach in the middle of the game?
Well, it's great. The kids are excited, the fans are into it, and it's a great thing because you know you played hard all this time, and after the game's over, you're going to be able to go home. So it's a great time.
You enjoying today?
Very much. I love the game, and Frankfurt's a great place to watch a game.
You've been lucky sitting under the cover up here as well.
I know. I feel sorry for the cheerleaders and the people that are out there, and it's hard for the players, but they seem to be adjusting to it.
Great, thanks for talking to me.
Thank you.
Back up to the studio.
Meanwhile, Chris Ditto has trying to get something going on his mind. He's got something going to Mario Bailey, who eludes one tackle and then is brought down very quickly from behind by Vince Bradford.
Mario Bailey finally able to shake Timmy Denton, who slips on the play. Bailey, who had a poor first half last week, only 1 catch in the first half, came out in the second half with 5 receptions.
A huge crowd here once again. And tonight, the crowd, 47,846.
Amazing atmosphere, and all the players can feel their excitement.
First down, Ditto. Looks, and he has Vince Marrow, who just loses his footing. Once again, Vince Bradford on the stop, but Marrow had an awful lot of running room ahead of him, just couldn't keep his feet.
It's like bad ice out there. You know, you're skating, it's like bad ice. It's Katie Williams, a little shot of him on the sideline, who had trouble catching up with the tight end, Haywood Clay, in the last series.
But Ditto showed how calm he was under fire in a dramatic game last week when they came from 10 points down to win in overtime. This team won't give it up, Brian. They try it on the ground and they don't get much. That's going to bring up another tricky 3rd down for the Frankfurt Galaxy. Jermaine Chaney, who's run himself into the ground here tonight, getting nothing there.
960 Chiefs ace swing. Come on, let's go.
Dick Curl calling to play a 963 ace swing. The ace swing is Jermaine Chaney out of the backfield. A guy that's been real quiet tonight is that man Derek Branch, number 8. Came in today with 36 catches this year and has been shut out tonight, going against Richard Jones.
Branch is at the bottom of his screen. Bailey at the top. Galloway in the slot. Ditto looks again for Mario Bailey and can't find him, but flags come in. And I can't believe that's going to be called against Tim Denton.
Yes.
But it is.
Tim Denton just playing good position football out there in the secondary.
Galen Hall's laughing at it.
But well, he had a good view of it.
Well, we need another look, but that looks a very, very tough call on Denton.
See, what Tim Denton is doing is he's just pushing Mario Bailey wide. They're going to call that running into Mario Bailey, but the fact is that you use your body between the man and the sideline. I mean, it's just good position and something that when he goes to the Redskins this summer, he'll be watching Darryl Green and Chris Dishman doing every day. And they're all fighting here in the 4th quarter for that trophy.
Controversial or not, it's given Frankfurt a first down in Fire territory. Ditto with a lot of time. Has a man, Vince Marrow, but he can't hang on. Are they going to say it was complete? No, it's coming back. Tim Denton, yeah, wow. You mentioned he's got to go up against Darrell Green and Chris Dishman.
Look at that tonight, a lot of action. They've thrown at him 12 times tonight, 2 completions. You know, that's a defensive back's dream right there. Test me, come after me. Let me show you what I've got cooking over here. I want that challenge.
And Mario Bailey, as you say, just a couple of catches. Why they haven't even tested Richard Jones on the other side, I don't know. On 2nd down and 10. And Ditto with time again, he's hit, and he's lucky.
Yeah, it's not about Richard Jones not getting tested. They don't even look to the left side. He looks right all the time. And Ed Fillion, a guy that came in sharing the sack title with Josh Taves from Barcelona with 9 this year, is making his presence felt in the middle. He's going up against Patrick Agaffa. He's beaten him this year for 4 sacks. And that time Agaffa tries to cut him, but that's a great effort by a defensive lineman to be able to bounce up off the turf like a Bobo doll and get back in a quarterback's face.
3rd and 10 for the Frankfurt Galaxy. Less than 12 minutes left in the World Bowl. Ditto with time once again, overthrows Mario Bailey. No flags this time. And the Rhein Fire defense, they'll give you so much and then they stop.
Yeah, they're going to give you that short stuff. They're going to give you the dumps to Jermaine Chaney. They'll give you the crossing patterns to the tight ends. But Mario Bailey not really able to dig in on that, and that ball is just overthrown. You know, that's a combination of a wet ball, a quarterback not able to set his feet and throw that ball on a line. You know, the weather's a factor here today, the turf's a factor.
Bill Kushner's been a busy man again. Kerry Joseph waits. And fair catches at the 8. And there's 11 minutes and 19 seconds left for Dick Curl to pull this thing around.
Haven't seen is any kind of a safety blitz. Chris Hall coming up the middle, coming free, trying to time that snap count to get in the Arellanes' face. What we haven't seen from Jim is under pressure, what does he do? You know, so far, you know, you've got to be impressed by the fact that every time he feels it, he's finding the right man. He's seeing the whole field. And a lot of people seeing this game here in Frankfurt tonight. Jack Elway, who coached this team back in '91 and '92. And right there is Carl Peterson from the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, a lot of NFL general managers and personnel are over here scouting players in this entire scene.
The pitch back goes to Derek Clark on 1st down, and Clark just plows his way to the 15-yard line. What a gutsy effort tonight from a guy who by rights really shouldn't be playing.
Yeah, what you got to like about Derek Clark is he's a gamer. You know, 18 career touchdowns on the ground here, most ever by a player in NFL Europe. And this is when he gets stronger. And he's got the bad ribs. You saw the rib protector earlier in the game. And he's thinking about a ring. He's thinking about a championship. And you've got to deliver in the 4th quarter if you think you're worthy.
10 carries for 35 yards for Clark tonight. Not impressive, but it's kept the defense honest. And that was impressive again. 6 yards last time, 7 yards this time. 1st down Frankfurt, and it's chewing the clock up as well, Brian.
Well, you know, you're talking about the guy that led NFL Europe in rushing. And you didn't get it by tiptoeing. You did it just like this. Between the tackles, his favorite play. Just a stretch, cut back right behind the right guard, Bob Cronenberg. Look at Cronenberg finish Sean Banks. Banks is on the ground, 5 yards downfield. Charge some cab fare for that play.
Well, it's about this time of the game last week that the Fire started to fall apart, and there's Arellanes losing the ball and doing well just to pick it up and maybe getting a yard before Sylvester Wright brought him down. They're dodging bullets all night, Brian, the Fire.
Nick, you just said it right. You know, last week at this time, they put the ball on the ground, and right now, Frankfurt just hasn't been alert enough to be able to take advantage of those. That ball's been on the ground about 7 times this evening. They haven't come up with one fumble recovery.
Bob Cronenberg there said he'd never played on a championship team, and he's been a real stalwart in this league, and nobody would begrudge him a ring in this, his final game as a player. He says this is it for him, whatever happens. Derek Clark on 2nd and 9. Clark getting all kinds of blocking in front of him and just flattening Greg Evans to finish it off. Yeah, 18 yards for Clark.
Now,
and look at Bob Cronenberg there.
Yeah, Cronenberg's on one side, and he's a team player because he was a center coming in at training camp this year, but Garen Patrick showed up. So he said, I'll go and play guard. And that man...
Oh, he's hurting now.
Yeah. But watch the left side. You'll see Cronenberg here on the backside. Dig into Sean Banks. Banks, who can run really well, can't get to the other side of the field to make this play. It's Bob Cronenberg now. Missed training camp because he had a pinched nerve in his neck. And he came in week 1 against Amsterdam, playing guard for the first time in his life, and he's found a home there.
John Vaughan takes the pitch back, but only just, and he's in trouble. And maybe picks up a yard. That was almost a disaster. Vaughan catching it at the second attempt, and Mario Bailey, who's also playing his last game tonight, is looking on with some anxiety. This has not been a good night to be an offensive player for the Frankfurt Galaxy.
Mario Bailey, who has 2,082 career receiving yards, most ever in NFL Europe history, said the only reason why he's accumulated that many yards is because he's been here too long. And he wants to keep playing football, but he wants to play in the NFL. And he had a shot last year, but in week 7, he broke his humerus bone in his arm, and it nullified his opportunity in Seattle.
This is a potential championship-winning drive by the Rhein Fire. The Galaxy have got to get this ball back. A flag comes in. Arellanes finds a man. John Vaughan is wide open and then slips. He's short of first down yardage, but a flag came in the vicinity of an offensive hold.
The guy they brought in here, the Russian passer, Israel Stanley, and had a good pass rush there. And he got pulled down on the play, and that's the penalty.
Leslie Ratcliffe, he's saying, not me, not me, not number 64.
Well, that's what all offensive linemen say. Every time you get flagged, you always say the same thing. Well, you can't be possibly looking at me. Hey, say anybody else's number but your own.
Holding on the offense, number 73. 10-yard penalty.
It was Derek West.
Second down.
See, they heard him.
And he's saying, no, not me.
Now, Derek West had trouble with Israel Stanley last week. He had a lot of trouble with him. And that's a matchup I was focusing in on tonight, and Israel Stanley beat him that time. He got the holding call, and now they have Ryan backed up in 3rd and long.
So, the Rhein Fire on 2nd down and 20, going from the shotgun. Arellanes on the draw play finds Derek Clark, and Clark will get back to the original line of scrimmage, working behind Garen Patrick, the center, and that'll bring up 3rd down and 11 from where they've spotted that ball. Cedric Clark on the stop.
I'm impressed by Clark tonight. It's tough playing with ribs that are bruised, and he's bouncing off players. Bounced off K.D. Williams right there. That's bad tackling. You've got to bring down Derek Clark for no gain when you get your opportunity.
And he's building up a head of steam here in this 4th quarter, Brian, as well. 64 yards now. Just a few plays ago, he'd caught 10 carries for 35 yards. He's turning it on when the Fire need him. 3rd and long. Arellanes will throw. Looks, waits, has a man wide open, and he's dropped it. Would you believe that? Kevin Lee had a huge play. Now let's just say, let's be charitable and say Kevin Lee obviously feeling the effects of that hip injury.
Yeah, if that's what it is, but that ball hit him, it didn't hit him in the hip.
Yeah.
Now, he ran right by Kenny McIntyre, who got confused on his own. And that play right there could have sealed this victory for the Rhein Fire. Instead, Nate Cochran has to go back to punt. And that's not a slippery ball, that's just a ball that he took his eyes off on.
And they've got Kenny Mack back deep for the Galaxy.
And he's thinking big play right here.
Cochran with the kick, and McIntyre's thinking about it. And he slips, but he stays on his feet, and he's going!
Play.
And then he loses his footing at the 45-yard line. There's something always happens when this man gets his hand on the ball. This time it's good field position, and with 6.5 minutes left, Frankfurt really need to turn it on. And you never know quite what's coming next. The Rhein Fire under a guy who'd only thrown 1 pass all season, over 200 yards. Jim Arellanes has played quite a game so far, but now it's Chris Ditto's turn to show what he can do. Ditto gets hit, and it's picked off. And Robert Davis, who had one called back on a penalty, isn't going to get that one called back. And Ed Fillion says, that's down to me.
Well, what happened was they went empty backfield, 5 wide receivers. That means Ed Fillion is one-on-one against Patrick Agaffa, and they run an X stunt. He got a sack last week on the same play. Dwayne Ashman took the center and the guard, and Ed Fillion came free right here. See that? He takes Jamie Vanderbilt along with Ben Lynch and leaves him one-on-one, and ditto under pressure, threw that ball up for grabs. Robert Davis came down with his first interception of the year. So you saw Dick Curl try to go to 5 wide receivers, and Ed Fillion smiled because he said, you know what? That interception right there is my play.
And you know the crazy thing here as we look at Ed Fillion's numbers, the Galaxy, it's their first turnover, it's their only real mistake. It's the first turnover of the game. The Fire have had the ball on the ground 6 times, got away with it every time, and now John Vaughan looking to put the thing away. He's done Chris Hall for speed, and Hall somehow manages to trip him up, but inside the 10, and the Fire, who blew it last week, are not going to blow it this week if this drive goes in. And these fans know how close they are.
John Vaughan showing breakaway speed, something he wants to show the NFL to get back into the NFL. And John Vaughan tonight, 14 carries, 107 yards. I mean, just an outstanding effort out of both Clark and Vaughan this evening. And the league's leading rushing team, showing the damage they can do when they get a lead in the 4th quarter.
Showing what a 1-2 punch they've got as well with Clark, who's been really brave today, and Vaughan. And Clark it is who's going to get the call, and Clark is nailed. Nothing doing there for Derek Clark. K.D. Williams getting good penetration and making the stop. The Galaxy have got to stop them here without scoring.
Well, you know, they got to make, right now, you know, the thing that they can get going is both Vaughan and Clark have had a tendency to put the ball on the ground, and that's a record. A World Bowl record for John Vaughan, and most of it on that last run. I like John Vaughan. Hey, mature kid. I told him before the game, I said, you got anything to say to this team? He goes, I got to step up. I'm a veteran here. You let these players know how big it is.
Arellanes is looking end zone, and it could have gone anywhere. Diallo Burks was looking for his hat-trick.
Yeah, sure was.
And that's going to be 3rd down and goal from the 10-yard line.
And what I like about this team right now with Rhein is other players have stepped up. We knew that Clark was banged up. We knew Mike Quinn wasn't going to play, and Larry Ryans was out. So guys like Burks, Vaughan, they had to step up and make their presence felt, and I think they really have.
And that veteran leadership that Vaughan brings. Derek Clark on the ground. Clark just plows it forwards and still running. What commitment from Derek Clark. Hall and Evans stopping him from the safety position. And Manfred Bergsmuller, Mike Carlson's all-time favorite player, will come onto the field for the field goal.
Yeah, now look at this drive right here. You got a cut back, Marcus Robinson blocking. Now look at the drive. Look at the legs. He has bad ribs, those are tired legs, and he doesn't go down.
Should be a chip shot. Bergsmuller, who's only missed once all year, a 20-yard field goal, and if he gets it, the Galaxy will need to score 3 times. So this is big for Bergsmuller. They came after it, but Bergsmuller got it up and away, and he's safe again, and the Galaxy are now in deep trouble. The Rhein Fire leading it by 17 points with just under 4 minutes remaining in World Bowl 98. Welcome back to Sky Sports coverage of World Bowl 98. The Fire seemingly now safe. 17 points ahead with just under 4 minutes remaining. They've collapsed in the past, Brian, but this would be a monumental collapse from here.
Yeah, I think most of the collapse that they've shown the last month of the season has been because they've relaxed. And they, you know, when you relax, you lose your concentration. And I don't see any concentration lapses here this evening. And you got to love the way a guy like Jim Arellanes, who we talked about down the field before the game, and what an opportunity for this kid. He comes over here to get some live fire, to get some real game action, but he plays behind the all-NFL Europe quarterback, and Mike Quinn, no opportunity to play. One chance to play, one chance to shine, and he has really shown tonight.
Well, he stepped up, didn't he?
Yeah.
He stepped up.
And that's Mel Agee right there. This is it for Mel Agee, you know. One more shot to get back to the NFL, and I was a teammate of Mel Agee's in Indianapolis when he was a 6th-round pick in 1991. He's been a good NFL player, you know, but he was a salary cap victim. Thought he'd come over here and play this year and maybe, you know, catch somebody's eye and get one more shot back in the NFL. And he'd love to have that World Bowl trophy to go with.
Danny Kite from the Washington Redskins will kick it away. The Fire really needs something here, and it's a line drive that Galloway will pick up at his own 15-yard line. And the Fire playing it safe and playing it sensible. Jamie Baisley, who should have been at a wedding in Fort Wayne, Indiana today, except the team had other ideas and went to the World Bowl instead.
The guy that he was going to the wedding with was Chris Ditto. Nick,
Pre-game.
we talked about this.
You're out there somewhere.
I was in this crowd today before the game, and it was something else. I mean, there's something for everybody at this event.
That is not you, incidentally, because you don't
No,
have
I was
that
there.
mobility.
I was in
you.
line having myself a bratwurst.
That's Manfred Bergsmuller. Or was it Mike Carlson? Crisis time for the Galaxy. Ditto swings it out, it's incomplete. They were looking for Jermaine Chaney, and that's going to bring up a 2nd down and 10. Derek Clark knows that his efforts may be enough this time. The Fire, they were there last year, they lost to Barcelona. John Kitna of the Seattle Seahawks blew them away. Now Jim Arellanes of the Seattle Seahawks may take the Fire to their first ever World Bowl.
The guys are starting to think about it now. You can see the defensive
KD
players,
Williams,
KD Williams, and we saw Greg Evans. Now,
Kenny Mack.
a valiant effort to get here, winning their last 4 games in a row. They were on a roll. You know, feeling good about themselves. Had to go to Dusseldorf and win a game last week. They found a way to win that game. To get here, I mean, they felt pressure all year, Nick, because the World Bowl had a new format this year. It was coming to Waldstadion. They knew that. They wanted to win it here in their home field. They felt that pressure, and they got here.
And they've done it without Mike Quinn as well. He's torn up his right ankle. 2nd down and long. Ditto gets hit as he throws. They look for Derek Branch, and there was nothing doing. Richard Jones delighted to be able to make a play at last. Ditto really felt some heat there, and Derek Branch, who's the nephew of Cliff Branch, the old Raider, by the way, I don't know why they haven't thrown to him.
Yeah, that's a nice tandem right there. Dallow Burks and Marcus Robinson in the big end, and Derek Clark, those 3 guys, the Musketeers.
And Ed Fillion, he's played his part as well.
Yeah. And Tony Sargent.
Sargent.
Give a lot of credit to that
Walter
defense.
Scott.
That's right.
This is a good group defensively, Brian.
Yeah, Pete Kaharchik has done an excellent job from training camp in Atlanta out in Carrollton to get here and get them here and to play as well as they have here tonight.
They're 2 of 9 on 3rd down conversions, and this is a long one for the Galaxy. And Ditto has time, now he's hit, but he still manages to get it off, but he can't find Mitchell Galloway, who is coming back. And Ditto's mobility, again, a problem for the Galaxy. And Dwayne Ashman says, that's mine.
Yeah, Tony Sargent and Dwayne Ashman in the middle. Dwayne Ashman, who got the first half sack, going up against Jamie Vanderbilt, gets a club move, direct path to the quarterback. And, you know, we saw a lot of guys with bad ribs here tonight. Chris Ditto's going to feel that shot in his ribs.
Dwayne Ashman, who got a Super Bowl ring with Denver in January, he's going to get a World Bowl ring with the Rhein Fire in June.
Well, word has it that John Beek from Denver is here in town to possibly present him with the ring, him and Hillary Butler.
Ditto on 4th down is going to be nailed. And how fitting that the Rhein Fire defense comes up with the play that wins the World Bowl for the Fire.
Ed Fillion, who grew up in Ontario, Canada, learned the game of football by watching it on TV. Frees up Dwayne Ashman and then comes in for the kill. You know, gets that sack on the play. Came in today, tied with Josh Taves. We're a leader in sacks in this league. Anytime a defensive tackle can get 9 sacks in a league, that's something that will catch somebody's eye.
Well, he said he spent a couple of years with Buffalo and he played for the Carolina Panthers in '96, then lost his confidence. I think he's regained it here in Dusseldorf. Arellanes pitches it back. Not a lot doing there for Derek Clark, but the clock continuing to run. We're inside 3 minutes.
And this has been a dominant performance by the Rhein Fire.
And there's not much that Chris Ditto's done wrong,
no?
Brian. This is Galen Hall and his defense that have done a lot of things right.
That's the offensive line coach right there, Whitey Jordan, who coached Frankfurt last year.
And it looks like it's 3rd time lucky for Galen Hall. He lost to the Sacramento Surge in '92. He lost last year to Barcelona. Surely now his Fire are going to win the World Bowl.
And he said this has been a long week waiting for this rematch here today.
Clark it is again. And the Rhein Fire fans start up with their song, and Mike Quinn, well, when he said he couldn't go, a lot of people thought, well, that's it, the Fire's chances are finished. But they've done pretty well without him, haven't they?
Yeah, well, he deserves that smile because he's earned it. He's the one that got the team here tonight.
2 minutes left in the NFL Europe season. 2 minutes between the Rhein Fire and the World Bowl trophy. And right now, there is nothing the Galaxy can do about it.
Lots of food, huh?
Yeah, lots of food.
John Vaughan goes in for the touchdown that seals it for the Rhein Fire.
That man, John Vaughan, so already has set a World Bowl record for rushing. Just really capped off a great evening, and what a mature kid, cutting back all the way behind the right side of Derek West and Bob Cronenberg, the All-World League right side.
And even Galen Hall will smile now. And surely even Chris Ditto, who's as gutsy a competitor there is, must know there is now no chance. And Jim Arellanes, did he take his opportunity with both hands? And Bob Cronenberg there, his first championship in his final game.
Congratulations, Bob.
And nobody's going to begrudge him the ring.
No,
Cronenberg got out of the way, but that's the fastest he's moved all year.
Oh yeah, you know, you got to get the obligatory Gatorade dunk.
Way to go, guys.
Chris Schelling still looking like the ghost at the feast there.
Yeah.
There's nothing like the sideline on the winning team in a championship game, Brian.
Now, you know, and Galen Hall, who's won championships, won a national championship at the University of Florida, and it's just a tremendous feeling, something you always cherish, and it creates a bond for the rest of your life with those players.
Meanwhile, it's no fun on the other sideline.
No, it isn't, but you know what? When they leave and they're going away tomorrow back to the States, back to the United States, for most of these kids, you know, they'll think about what they've done this year, how far they've come, how much time and experience they've gotten, and there'll be a sense of joy about what they've done this year.
And you played guard, and you played with Vince Marrow there, I know, but you must be feeling good for Bob Cronenberg right now as well.
Yeah, you gotta like Bob Cronenberg. He's just the definition of team. And, you know, and this is gonna be his last game in this league, and you know, he's played in the Canadian Football League, and he's been around, and you know, he's found a home here. 4 years here in Dusseldorf, and you know, it's amazing. 4 years in Dusseldorf, can't speak a lick of German.
I know.
Yeah, but
his name's Cronenberg as well, for goodness sake.
Yeah, great German name. Yeah, and there's a love affair there. You know, Galen Hall and Cronenberg, what a nice job of decoying for Galen.
Yeah.
You know, he's waving guys on.
That's his best move of the night.
Ed Fillion, you know, who's had a couple sacks. That's his biggest sack.
There's Ken Karcher. He's come down from the booth.
Yeah.
So you know how he feels about it.
Oh, yeah. You know, Kenny Karcher, who doesn't want to coach in any other league but this league, loves coming over here 4 months out of the year. He's building a Christian academy in downtown Pittsburgh, and, you know, that's what he's committed to. And, you know, when he's not doing that, you know, of course, the other side to the celebration is the defeat.
Yeah, you mentioned Ken Karcher there. You've got to admire and respect his attitude. He's building his Christian academy in Pittsburgh, and he wants to coach in this league. On the other sideline.
You look at
KD Williams. He's never played in a championship game either.
And these guys that have never played a championship game, and Derek West has never played in one, you never know when you're going to get back there.
Well, Werner Hippler is a load, but so too right now is Kevin Jefferson. And Werner knows there's no more World Bowl rings for him. He picked one up in '95. Just before the celebration, Brian, a couple of thank yous. I'm sure you'll join me in this one. Huge, great crew here from Sky Sports, but we've got to mention our producer, Piers Croton, and our executive producer, Charles Bolton. And one man who's not here, and I know you feel strongly about this as well, Brian, Jeff Gowan from Fox Sports, who would have been here other than a death in the family. And our thoughts are with Jeff now.
We send condolences to his father who passed away this week, and Jeff, who been a longtime producer at Fox and a guy that everybody knows over here in this league, a guy that everybody respects. You know.
Yeah, we all owe him a lot. The last rites of the season. Ingo Seibert gets the carry. He won't care if they're 100 points down. He will go flat out.
And this is the culmination of a lot of work. You know, it starts in Atlanta during training camp. And, you know, the credit that you got to give Galen Hall and this team and the defense and the offense is that there's only 6 returning players from a year ago when they lost to Barcelona. A couple guys now have won World Bowl rings and Super Bowl rings in the same year. That man, Dwayne Ashman, who's been a real force up front on the defensive line, of course, won one with the Denver Broncos in January, and now takes one home from World Bowl 98 in June.
Ingo Seibert showing his speed and getting these Galaxy fans on their feet. A last hurrah for Ingo. And when you see a run like that, you wonder why they hardly used him at all this season.
Ingo Seibert.
I know the game's over, Brian, but that guy he doesn't care. He's going for it.
Yeah, and he showed the same thing last week when he made his first carry of the season. Always a tremendous passion for the game and enthusiasm, and the fans feel that. And he's been a productive player as well. I mean, the guy has 7 career touchdowns in this league.
The season may end in the hands of Ingo Seibert. There's the carry once again. Ingo looking to turn the corner. It gets met that time with 30 seconds left in the ball game. I think the Fire defense said, hang on a minute, we may be World Bowl champions, but you're not running on us.
And you know what it's great about Jim? Is when you don't get a chance to play, Nick, you never really feel completely a part of the team. Right now, Jim feels like he's, you know, the most important guy on that team. You know, a great night for Arellanes filling in.
6 seconds left and counting. The World Bowl goes to Dusseldorf after this play. Ditto puts it up in the air, and it looks like an interception to finish it off. It's academic whatever. They're ruling it as an incompletion. Tim Denton runs into Werner Hippler. And that's not the way you want this thing to end.
No, none of this right now. No, that's not necessary.
That's just stupid.
No, and the fans are booing. They're booing right now, and they should. There's been a clean game, and it's hard fought and hard and earned.
Great job, guys.
But here's 2 guys that have got a lot of respect for each other.
No, come on, Werner.
And Werner Hippler's in the end zone. He's just losing it all together. He's surrounded by players.
And that man, Marcus Robinson, got things off early tonight, Nick, with the throwback pass to the quarterback and then the long throw down the middle from Arellanes. I think that got the offense ignited immediately.
It was an explosive start, wasn't it, Brian? There was nothing Chris Ditto could do about it. Well, Mike Quinn, he stayed in there to help all he could.
And you know, you like that. You see Quinn go up and shake the hands of Chris Ditto, and there's a respect amongst all the players in this league.
Big Bruce Walker, he gave everything. But the bottom line is the Rhein Fire win the World Bowl for the first time ever. Back to Kevin and Mike in the studio. Thanks very much, Kevin. There it is, 41 pounds of crystal. Galen Hall has been close to it twice, and on the 3rd time, he's going to get to touch it. The Rhein Fire worthy winners today, 34-10, and frankly, from that very first play, you always sensed that they were the team that were destined to win this one. Oliver Luck, the president of the NFL Europe League.
Ladies and gentlemen, the president of the National Football League, Mr. Neil Austrian.
Frankfurt Galaxy fans, I think you proved to millions of people who watch the game on television today, you're the greatest fans in the world. And Dick Curl and the Galaxy staff and the Galaxy team, thanks for a terrific year. Galen Hall, your whole staff, you were terrific. It was a great game, and I think everybody really enjoyed it. I'd now like to thank very much Holstein Brewery for all their support during the game, and turn the microphone over to its chairman, Gunther Ellenberg.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the main sponsor, of the presenting sponsor, Holstein Brewery, I first want to thank the 2 teams for this famous game tonight. It was an excellent
Everybody down there on the sideline.
Secondly, I want
all the
to thank you,
NFL and NFL Europe big shots, the guys who get into the rooms that we can't get into, Brian, not even you. They're all there making the presentation. And these players, they just want all this stuff to finish, don't they? So they can get up there, they can carry that thing around, they can start celebrating.
Every league and every sport, Nick, is always long. And there's always a price to pay and there's always sacrifice. But when you're standing on the podium and the championship is there and you can touch it, and there's no greater feeling, and you never feel more united to anybody in your life than you do when you win a championship. And for a guy like Jim Arellanes, a guy that had to watch all year long, to be a part of this now because of his great efforts. I mean, nobody feels better for him than Galen Hall.
A man who's been with this league right from the start.
And, for a guy like Galen Hall now, something follows him everywhere he goes. The guy develops quarterbacks, whether it's T.J. Rubley or Jim Arellanes or Mike Quinn. He's been able to develop guys that have gotten it done.
Ladies and gentlemen, the most valuable player of the 1998 World Bowl, quarterback for the Rhein Fire, Jim Arellanes.
And you can't argue with that decision.
No. 12 of 18 today, 3 touchdowns, 263 yards, and I mean, really, absolutely unbelievable.
Any quarterback can take those numbers, any quarterback in any game at any level. And the guy threw 1 pass all season coming into this game.
Yeah, and that just shows that the guy was studying and learning throughout the season. And the thing that will happen now is that's going to give him confidence going into Seattle for training camp this summer.
Well, there's going to be quite a party for these guys for the rest of this evening. For now, for the party to carry on, back to Kevin and Mike.